Chapter 70 TWO Saffron. Of course you're still Zara's best friend, I tell Jess. Yeah, right. She crosses toward the sink and plops down on the counter. She couldn't even bother to text me. She didn't get your texts. I grimace. I still have her phone. She gave it to me last night, but it's locked, and I don't know Zara's passcode. She has a tablet and a laptop. Jess rolls her eyes. I thought you guys were in so much trouble that Alpha confiscated them. Zara was just distracted, I try to explain. There are no words for the way Zara and Jasper have been acting from the moment they realized they were mates. It's like they haven't been aware of anything or anyone except each other. I went to find her this morning, Jess snaps. You should have heard her. She jumps off the counter and takes on a snooty, mocking tone. You'll understand when you find your mate, Jess. It's different when it's meant to be, Jess. Jess snorts. She didn't mean it like that. Sure she didn't. Jess rolls her eyes. I was so freaked out when I came looking for her, and guess what? She was sorry for like 3 seconds before she started jumping up and down and telling me how happy she was. Of course she's happy. She found her mate, Jess. Her mate. You should be happy for her. I am happy. Jess shouts and starts crying. I am. Of course, I'm happy for her. It's just, she swipes at her face with the back of her hand, smearing even more makeup. She said Logan and I weren't meant to be. He broke up with you. The words leave my lips before I can think it through. I know how insensitive I sound and how jealous, but I don't like her talking like that about Logan. If she so much as tries to make a move on him. I know we broke up, Jess whispers. I know I lost him. I don't want to lose Zara, too. You're not losing Zara, I say, my jealousy dissipating. She's still your friend. Just talk to her, okay? Okay, Jess nods and swipes at more tears. I'm such a mess. You're not. I walk over and hug her. Thanks, Soph. Jess hugs me back. She lets go and slides off the counter. I really am a mess. No, you're not, I tell her, mainly to be friendly, since the mess doesn't even begin to cover it. Her black eyeliner and mascara are smudged on her cheeks, her nose is beet red from crying, her eyes are bloodshot, and she has chunks of bleach blonde hair sticking out of her high ponytail. Jess takes one look in the mirror and starts giggling at her reflection. Then she turns on the tap, pumps out some soap from the dispenser and starts scrubbing her face. I figure it'll take her a while, she really does look that bad, so I climb onto the counter and wait. Yeah, I should probably go back to class, but I think I've had enough of watching people roll on condoms for one lifetime. I'd honestly rather get detention and face an angry POW than go back there. When Jess is done, she climbs onto the other end of the counter and turns to face me. She looks so much younger without makeup. So you decided not to run away, she asks. I was going to, I tell her honestly, but Alpha caught me sneaking around and sort of walked in on Jasper and Zara while they were. I flushed and trailed off, unable to finish the sentence. He what? Jess sputters, and by the look on her face, it's obvious she knows precisely what I'm talking about. I tried to stop him, I blush, wondering again if there was more I could have done, but he walked me back to my room and they were naked, and, I force out the details, going into as much detail as I can without dying of embarrassment. I think I saw Jasper's. I look down and wave my hand around a few times, trying to think of the right word to use. Junk. You think you saw it? Jess gasps. As if you're not sure. I blush. Was it that small? Jess. I'm kidding, she giggles. I know he's not small. Jess. It's my turn to gasp. You know, Zara told me. Goddess Soph. What did you think? Nothing. I blush. I can't believe you and Alpha walked in on them doing it. They weren't doing it, they could have just been talking, naked? Right, Jess rolls her eyes. Poor Zara. That must have been so embarrassing. Poor me, I whisper under my breath and slide off the counter just to have something to do. Hey, what's that stuff on your pants? Jess asks, staring down at my legs. I follow her gaze and spot a bunch of sticky, shiny residue where I grip the banana. Gross, I cry, grab a bunch of paper towels from the dispenser, and wipe the stain off. When that doesn't work, I run them under the water for several seconds and wipe at the stain again. I'm still rubbing my pants when the bathroom door swings open. "This stuff is so disgusting," Zara says, joining us. She smiles at Jess, completely oblivious, and sniffs her hands, which have pink, sticky stuff on them. That smells like cough syrup." "It does?" I ask, taking a sniff of her hands. "It smells exactly like the cherry-flavored stuff I had to take 2 years ago when I had the flu. I was only sick for a day, all thanks to my wolf immune system. Unfortunately, I had to take the stuff every half hour, this time thanks to my superior wolf metabolism. It was so bad that even the smell made me gag." "Here, Jess," Zara extends her hand, "smell this." "What is that?" Jess wrinkles her nose. "Cherry flavor," Zara says. "What did you get, Saf, banana?" She looks pointedly at my pants and giggles. There are now visible wet spots above both of my knees, but you can still see the sticky stuff. It looks shiny, and to make matters worse, there are paper towel bits on my pants as well. Zara looks down at her own tights and grimaces. She held the banana a lot higher because her stains were on her inner thighs. "What the hell?" Jess gapes. "Health class," Zara says, as if that explains everything. Apparently, it does, because Jess's lips form an O, and then she starts to laugh. We spend a few minutes rubbing at the stains on our pants without luck until Zara finally gets an idea. She sends me into the stall to take off my pants and washes them in the sink while I wait. I huddle in the stall in my underwear, hoping that whatever she's doing works. If it doesn't, I guess I'll spend the rest of my life in the second-floor bathroom because I'm so not going anywhere in my underwear. After a few minutes of me nervously peeking out of the stall to see what's going on, Zara finishes washing my pants and sticks them under the dryer. It's one of those fancy ones that makes the skin on your hands move so it works fast, but it still takes forever. When Zara finally declared my pants ready, I slid into the toasty, warm, yet stiff material, which had also suddenly shrunk a few sizes, so it barely zipped up. Then, we switch spots, and I wash her black tights. "Hey Safi, do you still have my phone?" she calls from inside the stall. "Yeah, but it's in my bag. Which I left back in class. I'll give it back to you later." "Sure." Zara groans. "Jess, can I borrow yours?" In a minute, Jess mumbles as it dings, and she types something back. "Caitlin wants me to cancel cheer practice. Again. Do you have to?" I ask more so because I don't like Caitlin than because I care about cheer practice being cancelled. "Yeah," Jess groans. "It's Caitlin." As if that explains everything. Maybe it does. "Hey, it's my turn to watch Nikki after school, and Jasper has practice," Zara calls from the stall. I swear her voice goes down an octave when she says Jasper's name. "Why don't we all hang out?" "Yeah, sure." Jess smiles. "Do you have your car?" I didn't have time to unpack mine. "Nah, but we can just walk home." Chapter 73. Saffron. The forest between the school and the pack house is beautiful. Trees surround us, and birds chirp overhead as we walk. If I focus, really focus, I can hear leaves rustling in the wind and the faint sounds of running water. I take a deep breath and catch the scent of a fox that's somewhere upwind. 2 squirrels jet by, chasing each other up a tree trunk, making me smile. This place is heaven. Or it would be if Caitlin had just stopped talking for 1 second. "Oh my goddess," and then she said, "How could you, Caitlin?" And I said, "Listen here, biatch." Caitlin goes on and on until my head starts to ache. I try to enjoy the walk and just ignore her high-pitched, nasally voice, but it's a losing battle. The only good thing is that Caitlin's talking to Jess and Zara, not me. I haven't said a word since we picked up Nikki and her friends from elementary school. I don't think anyone would notice if I put in headphones and blasted music to block out Caitlin, but I don't actually own headphones or a phone. If walking home with Caitlin becomes a thing, I know exactly what I'll be doing with my first paycheck after I give a large chunk to POW, of course. I glance at Nikki and her friends, Nisha and Joshi. They're far enough ahead and too busy giggling to be annoyed by Caitlin. Would it be weird if I tried to join them? Would Zara and Jess even notice? I glance at my new friends. Jess is nodding along as Caitlin talks, like she actually cares, and says things like OMG and really, in all the right places. Zara chimes in, too, occasionally, but she looks all dreamy, probably thinking about Jasper. Me. I have to fight the urge to scream at Caitlin to be quiet. Or gouge my eyes out. Or kill something, assuming Caitlin doesn't talk us all to death first. I debate, shifting and running the rest of the way home to get away from the pain that is Caitlin, when she suddenly stops in her tracks. OMG. You guys. I left my math book in my locker. She gasps and covers her glossed lips with her hand like she thinks she's on some TV sitcom. We, have a test tomorrow. You can borrow my book, Jess offers. Or mine, Zara adds. I don't have one, I chime in. I was in Mr. Hank's class for a total of 10 minutes yesterday, and this morning I slept through my first class. If I did have a book though, no way would I ever lend it to Caitlin. I should probably borrow someone's though, if we have a test. That's so sweet, Caitlin says, I'm assuming to Jess and Zara, but I need my notes. She blows us some air kisses and turns back the way we came. See you at home. She skips away, and I cover my sigh of relief with a cough. Jess rubs her temples like Caitlin is giving her a headache, which makes no sense since she's the one who invited her. Zara, meanwhile, looks like she's off in Jasperland. After a few more minutes of walking, we reach a clearing. Nikki giggles and runs into the knee-high grass with Joshi and Nisha on her tail. She throws her hands in the air, tilts her head up to the sky, and starts to spin. Her friends join in, letting the sun hit their faces as they spin faster and faster. I know it's childish, but I run into the grass and join them. It's such a beautiful day, and everything in my life finally feels right. Caitlin is gone, and I have wolf friends and a sort of boyfriend. I live in a pack house, like I've always dreamed of. POW doesn't plan to keep me a slave forever, and I never have to worry about fighting Dad again. Life couldn't get any better. I spin and spin and spin until I smell them. Wolves. Strangers. I stop spinning and take a few seconds to let the dizziness pass. Then I squint into the trees, trying to spot them. Can we play tag? Nikki begs, running over to Zara. Sure, Nick, but only when we cross the border. Remember what Alpha says. No shifting on human territory, the kids all yell at once. We know. Nikki whispers something to her friends, and they start to giggle while Zara and Jess share a smile. They're all acting so normal, as if they're not the least bit worried about the strange scents. Why should they be? It's probably just a few packs of wolves I haven't met yet. I'm walking home from school, and it's the same as us. Wait, you're sure we can't shift here? I ask, zeroing in on a flash of grey fur up ahead. No way. If anyone saw us, Zara trails off, looks in the direction of my gaze, and takes a sniff. Suddenly, she grabs Nikki's hand, and I immediately reach for the nearest kid, Joshi, while Jess takes hold of Nisha. Come on, Zara starts herding us back the way we came, before they spot us. Except it's too late. Already, I see flashes of white and grey fur as the wolves give chase. We only take about a dozen steps before they surround us, two large, growling wolves. One is a familiar shade of grey, the same shade as Dad and most rogues, but the other is a shockingly white wolf, the color of snow. Zara steps in front of the kids, protecting them, and Jess moves to stand by her side. I do too, forming a three-person barrier that will hopefully keep Nikki, Nisha, and Joshi safe. I glance at Zara, waiting for her to give the order to attack, just as a guy steps out from behind the trees. He looks oddly familiar, with his pale face and his shaggy black hair sticking out every which way. I know I've seen him before, but where? If it were at school, you'd think I'd remember. This guy would literally stand out anywhere with his gaunt face, too skinny body, and way too large clothes. He's either lost a bunch of weight, or he borrowed the mud-splattered jeans and torn, wrinkled t-shirt from some really big homeless person. You're not going anywhere. He leers at us and gives us a disgusting once-over. Actually, the once-over seems to be aimed mostly at me, but then his gaze shifts down our defense line to take in Jess and Zara. I wait for Zara, the beta female, to give the order to attack when two more figures step out of the trees. I barely pay any attention to the kid, My relief is so great at the sight of the man next to him. He's wearing black jeans, a navy t-shirt, and a black leather jacket, all of which fit him well and look like they were borrowed from POW instead of a homeless person. I've only ever seen this guy wearing reflective sunglasses as he watched me through his car window, but it's obviously him. Those same sunglasses are perched on his head, and I recognize his tanned skin, with a day's worth of stubble, and his hard, angular chin. I inhale, and a whiff of his scent confirms it. He's the same wolf who's been following me and Logan on our runs. POW's guard. Chapter 74 Your P-Alpha Patterns Guard. Great, here I go with the Palpha again. Patterns guard? That's what you think. The guy starts to laugh. Can you believe her? His friends join in, and even the two wolves circling us shake their heads in silent laughter. You're stupider than I thought. The youngest member of their group, who looks about 13 or 14, also seems kind of familiar, come to think of it. He's wearing dirty, baggy clothes, but looks less homeless and more gangster, probably because of all the chains. There's a bulky one around his neck and at least 10 more hanging from the waistband of his jeans. The kid's so skinny, though, that I'm surprised they don't weigh him down and topple him over. You watch it. POW guard, who's not actually POW's guard, slaps the back of the kid's head and turns to the homeless guy. And you, watch your brother, or he just might end up dead. Yes, Beta, both brothers reply in unison, heads bowed. I frown. Are they rogues, or aren't they? Because rogues don't have leaders, and they definitely don't have beaters. If they're packed. I stare at them for another second, and then something clicks, and I realize I know these guys. Not Beta, but the two brothers. The only reason I didn't recognize them sooner is that the kid's grown at least a foot, and his brother has lost a ton of weight since I last saw them. That was about a year ago, back in Oakburg, when I'd caught the two of them breaking into our house. I'd seen the kid first, and he'd looked so much younger than much more innocent. I hadn't wanted to fight him, but I'd had no choice. Luckily, something spooked him and his brother before any of us got seriously hurt, and they'd run off. It's so weird that they're here, in Mapleton. Who are you? Zara demands. She tries to sound harsh, but she looks terrified. Her gaze keeps drifting between the brothers, Beta, and the two wolves circling us. What do you want? We're the ones who get to ask all the questions. Beta growls. I wait for him or one of the brothers to ask something, but the seconds tick away in silence. I consider saying something, but it's probably not a good idea. I have a lot of experience with rogues, so I know what works and what doesn't. Mouthing off isn't a good idea, but then neither is cowering, the way I did with POW. That sort of thing only works on angry, pissed off wolves, not desperate wolves. The last thing I want is for them to think we're an easy target. It's bad enough that we've got 3 terrified kids huddled behind us and that Zara and Jess aren't helping. Zara looks like she's going to be sick, her expressive face giving everything away. Jess is pretty nervous, too, but for her, it's more than she's fidgeting, and her eyes keep darting back and forth between the rogues. I want to believe they're acting to try and lull our attackers into a false sense of security, but I'm pretty sure they're actually terrified. What do you think you're doing? Beta suddenly shouts, and I realize Zara has her phone out. Hand that over. He takes Zara's phone, drops it on the ground, and smashes it with the heel of his shoe several times. Phones, here, now. The older brother storms toward us and confiscates them from the 3 trembling little kids while his younger brother grabs Jess's phone. When he smashes it into little pieces, she whimpers. Hand it over, he says, stopping to stand in front of me, palm open. I don't have one. I shake my head, and he circles me, making sure I don't have anything hidden in my pockets. Give me your bag, he demands, and he tosses out my brand new binders. When they hit the ground, and he kicks them, I whimper as Jess did over her phone. He makes sure to search everything, and finally satisfied, he tosses it back to me. Nothing there. Good, Beta shouts. On the ground, now. What? I frown. Rogues never shout orders, they attack, steal, fight, take, and then go. They don't order anyone to get on the ground like they think they're some sort of bank robbers. Does this mean they're not rogues, after all? And then what do they want with us? Sit. Beta points at the grass. Now. I got this, sir. The kid steps forward. Beta said sit. His face breaks into a menacing grin, like the good little pups that you are. Beta slaps him upside the head again. Down, now, he yells, gesturing at the two wolves still circling us. Or else. Jess instantly sits, hugging her knees to her chest. Zara follows suit, pulling Nikki and the kids down with her. I want to resist arguing that would be stupid. We're outnumbered, with 5 of them and only 3 of us. Yeah, I know there are technically 6 of us with the kids, but they're more of a liability. They're too young to do much good in a fight, which means we'll have to focus on protecting them. I lower myself to the ground, using that time to assess the situation, the way Dad taught me. One thing he would do is corner me around the house and shout out rogue attack scenarios. 3 rogues, 1 with a broken leg, against me and Dad. 2 rogues, a muscular male and a skinny half-starved female, but I'm on my own. You get the picture. Dad would demand a plan on the spot. Would I run or fight back? Who would I attack first? How would I fight? If he liked my plan, he'd nod and walk away. If he didn't, I'd end up paying for it. I've always dreaded those encounters, but now I'm glad for the practice. I refocus on the scenario in front of me. The 2 wolves that keep circling us, practically foaming at the mouth, are clearly muscular. They're likely good fighters, but they seem to be following Beta's orders. Since he's the one who calls all the shots, he's the most dangerous. Now what? The kid spits into the grass. He could be trouble, too. It's been a whole year since I've faced him, and at his age, kids learn fast. He's not deferring to his Beta either, the way his brother is, which means he's got real potential. That or he's so weak that Beta finds his posturing amusing. We wait for Alpha, Beta announces. I guess I should have expected there'd be an Alpha since there's clearly a Beta, but I'm still surprised. Why not just take the girl and leave? The kid whines. Or we could have a little fun with the girls. I said Beta begins. It's her he's after, the kid argues. He won't care what we do with the others. What if they go get help? His older brother asks. If we screw this up, Alpha then we have fun with the others and then kill them. The kid leans towards us. It's not like Alpha will let them live when he gets here. I feel the others tremble beside me and instinctively move closer, comforting them. I really don't like the sound of this. I also don't like how the 2 wolves circling us keep moving closer and closer, tightening the perimeter and keeping us contained. They're after me, Zara whispers to our little group. I'm Jasper's mate. So? Nikki squeezes into her side, eyes wide. So they want to ransom me, or draw out Jasper, or something. Who else would they be after? Jess snaps, her eyes brimming with tears. Zara's probably right, I add. If it's an attack against the pack, they'd go after the Beta's new mate. The fact that 2 of these guys used to be rogues and tried to rob our house is just a coincidence. Rogues travel around, and they can join packs if they find one that will take them. These 2 just happen to have ended up here, and they don't even seem to remember me, which I can use to my advantage. As for Beta, he probably wasn't following me around all this time, but Logan was biding his time until he could challenge the future Alpha. There's something I need to tell you, I whisper, moving closer to Zara. As the Beta female, she's our group's leader, and I need to make sure she has all the facts. What? Zara whispers back. About a year ago. I begin, quickly telling her about fighting the 2 rogue brothers. I keep my voice at a whisper and finish the story with all the details I can remember about Beta following us back when I thought he was POW's guard. Zara started to frown, and I realized something. It's all my fault. I groan. Why did I beg Logan not to tell POW? If he had, this wouldn't be happening. Chapter 75 Saffron. It's not your fault, it's mine, Zara whispers, wrapping a protective arm around Nikki. I'm the one they want. No, it's my fault. Jess groans. If I'd just brought my car, none of this would have happened. I look from Jess to Zara and back again. Logically, they're both right. If we'd driven home, we'd never have been ambushed. If Zara weren't Jasper's mate and the pack's new Beta female, These rogues, or whoever they are, wouldn't bother attacking us. If I had just mentioned the guard to POW, he'd have sent someone to investigate, and we'd be safe. Any one of us could have prevented this, but we didn't, and it's too late now. Moaning and groaning about it won't get us out of this mess. We need a plan, I whisper. Zara's the beta female. She'll come up with something. I know she will. I wait for her to give some sort of instructions to assure us that we're getting out of this alive, but she just looks back at me with panic in her eyes. I turn to Jess, hoping she'll take the lead, but she's just staring at Zara expectantly. What could I possibly do? We're outnumbered. We don't stand a chance. Suddenly, I realize I'm the perfect person for the job. I'm used to being outnumbered. I'm used to fighting rogues. I'm sure I can't beat them. Dad trained me to survive against all odds by being smart. I've fought off dozens of stronger, more powerful wolves, not at the same time, of course, but now I have Zara and Jess by my side. 2-pack wolves who are probably 10 times stronger than I am. I try to come up with a plan. If we just stand up and fight, we might still lose. The odds are definitely stacked against us. But if their alpha shows up, the odds will be infinitely worse. If he brings reinforcements, we're doomed. I don't know what to do. Zara moans. What do we do? Think, Jess begs, and the kids whimper. Can't you link and get help? I ask. If Zara and Jess can just alert the others. It's too far, Zara says. They're mates, not magicians. Jess snaps. Obviously, Zara and Jasper can't. Sorry. I'm just really freaking out. Guys, what do we do? Their fear is contagious, and for a second, all I can think about is death. Being torn limb from limb. Having my bones broken. Feeling the life seep out of me. At least they won't kill Zara, not yet, but who knows what they'll do to her. Kidnap her and hold her for ransom? Torture her for information? Use her and then kill her anyway? How could the moon goddess be so cruel? I finally have friends, and what about Jasper and Zara? They've only been mates for a day. Less, even. If anything were to happen to her, he'd never get over it. It's just not fair that they're finally together, forever, and then this happens. I can't let those rogues harm Zara. Not now. Not when she's finally found her mate. Plus, what about little Nikki? And Joshi and Nisha? They're just kids. They have their whole lives ahead of them. Jess, Zara, and I do, too. We're too young to die. I have to do something, but what? How do I save them? Us. I'm just a rogue 100 times weaker than Zara and Jess, and most likely weaker than Beta and the 2 wolves circling us. I think I can take the brothers I have before, but that still leaves 3 other wolves for Zara and Jess. One of them is a Beta, and 2 are muscle-trained. There aren't enough of us to take them on. Unless we can get help, we don't stand a chance. Help. I whisper. That's it. I don't know how, Zara cries. No, I mean we need to get help. Reinforcements. We don't have to defeat these guys, we probably wouldn't be able to if we tried, we just have to hold them off long enough for someone to get help. If my life with Dad has taught me anything, it's that you can't win against a stronger wolf. What you can do is keep fighting until your last breath. Until you see stars and your vision dims and the pain is too much and everything sounds so far away it turns to dust. Until then, we stand a chance. We just need to stay conscious until help gets here. We're wolves. As long as we do that, we'll heal. Which one of you kids can run the fastest? I ask Nikki, Nisha, and Joshi. There's no way Zara, Jess, or I can run to get help and leave the others to fend for themselves. It has to be one of the kids, someone who won't be much good in a fight. Nikki's faster than me, Nisha whispers, and Joshi can't shift. Joshi sticks out his tongue at her. The fact that he can do that with rogues circling us makes me smile. One day, he'll grow up into a brave, powerful wolf if I can keep him alive that long. Okay, Nikki, we'll create a diversion. As soon as I yell go, you run and get alpha pattern, okay? Nikki nods wide-eyed. We can't create a diversion. Jess grabs my arm. If we pull anything, They'll kill us. You heard them. We have to try. Jess looks terrified, but she doesn't argue. Neither does Zara. She just pulls Nikki in and hugs her close. Here's the plan. I pause, working out the details. Zara, Jess, which of you is stronger? Jess nods at Zara. Zara, I want you to take on the bigger wolf. I gesture at the grey wolf circling us. He's at least twice the size of my wolf, and I have to push back a wave of fear. Jess, you get that one. I gesture at the smaller of the two, the one with the snow-colored coat. What about the other three? Jess asks. Misha, Joshi, I want you two to take the kid. I watch him pace back and forth, glaring at everyone and everything. I really hope he's just posturing, but I could be wrong. Don't try to fight him, just keep him distracted until Nikki gets away. Do you think you can do that? Misha nods, but Joshi shakes his head. I can't shift, remember? He whispers. Just try to help Misha, okay? But keep your distance. You can't fight a wolf, but you can yell at it or throw stuff. Okay. Joshi nods emphatically and squares his shoulders, trying to look tough. He ends up looking adorable, and the way Nisha and Nikki each take one of his hands makes tears spring to my eyes. No matter what happens, I can't let them die. Just keep your distance, okay, Joshi? Nisha. Your job is to stay alive and safe until Zara and Jess can help you. Nisha looks scared, but she nods, and Joshi tries to act tough. Saf, I don't think. Zara argues. Take care of your wolves as fast as you can, then help them. Saf, Zara tries again. I'm going to take on Beta and the older brother, I interrupt. I won't last long, so come help me as soon as you've taken care of everyone else. I estimate I can last 5 minutes, 10 tops, before they tear me to shreds. If it were the two rogue brothers, that's one thing, but Beta? I know I don't stand a chance, that I may not stay alive long enough for Zara and Jess to defeat their wolves and help me. I just have to try. Because if I fail, we'll all end up dead. Chapter 76 Saffron POV Saf, you can't take them both on, Zara argues, grabbing my wrist. You'll get yourself killed. Her whispered words get louder and louder until I have to put a finger to my lips to remind her to be quiet. Zara quickly lowers her voice, but it's already too late. I turn a panicked look at our attackers. Surprise is the only element we have on our side, and if they realize what we're about to do before we have a chance to act, it's over. If they attack us now, before we're ready, we're doomed. To my relief, the white and grey wolves have stopped circling us and have moved back to the edge of the clearing. They're lying down on opposite sides, one to my left and one to my right, both keeping an eye on us as they wait for further instructions. Beta and their older brother have moved further back, too, and are carrying on a whispered conversation. I'm curious to know what they're saying and how it affects us. But I can't hear at this distance. At least if I can't listen to them, they probably can't hear us. That only leaves the rogue kid, who's pacing angrily back and forth. He seems even more curious than I am about the conversation between his older brother and Beta. He keeps moving closer and closer to them, trying to listen in, which means he's paying absolutely no attention to us. I have to do this, I whisper. This is our only chance. Nikki's lower lip trembles. You can't. Nikki, I turn to face her, you need to focus on running as fast as you can. Understand? But what if? Nikki looks absolutely terrified, poor thing. Just do your best, okay, Nick? That's all I'm asking. Okay. Nikki nods bravely, and I want to throw my arms around her and give her a huge hug. Except we don't have time for that, we have to act now before they suspect anything. Don't look back. Just shift and run. The sooner you reach Alpha and get help, I trail off. Just go as quickly as you can. We're counting on you. I will. Nikki straightens her shoulders. I promise. You can do it, Nikki, Nisha chimes in, squeezing her hand. Yeah, we believe in you, Joshi adds, placing his own hand on top of Nikki's and Nisha's joined hands. Then Zara hugs her, and Jess whispers a quick good luck. I started to worry that our attackers would begin to notice. Is everyone ready? I ask and wait for them to nod. Good, now take off your backpacks. The last thing I need is for one of us to get stuck after we shift. Oh, right, Zara mutters and moves to pull off her bag. The others instantly scramble to do the same, and the noise of them moving as one is so loud my heart nearly explodes. Have they never fought rogues before? Stop. I snap in a loud whisper. Slowly, so they don't notice. Sorry, Zara whispers back. Come on, Nikki, let me help you first. I follow her lead and help Joshi with his bag while Jess helps Nisha. When the kids are done, we slowly remove our own backpacks, sending surreptitious glances at our attackers the whole time. Okay, good, I say when we're all finally done. Now, on 3. 1. We all tense. 2. The tension grows until it's almost like electricity traveling between us, holding our group together. 3. I shout, and I push off the grass and start running. I shift in mid-air, tearing my clothes to shreds. They burst at the seams and fell off me in a tattered mess, underwear and all. I am too focused on attacking to feel embarrassed about the bra and panties now lying in the middle of the clearing, but I do feel bad about ruining Zara's clothes. My own baggy sweats and t-shirt may be ugly, but at least they always survive when I have to shift suddenly. It's honestly no wonder Zara owns so many clothes if she ends up losing entire outfits every time she faces a rogue. I don't know why these weird thoughts about clothes race through my head as I close the rest of the distance separating me from Beta. Thankfully, when I'm about a foot away, I focus on the fight ahead of me and aim straight for his throat. I might luck out and kill him, but he moves to the right at the last second. I try to follow, but I miss and end up tearing a chunk out of his left shoulder instead. I mean a literal chunk of skin covered in blood, which I promptly spit out. The feeling of my wolf's teeth-piercing skin sends a shiver of disgust down my spine, and I nearly gag. It's not the first injury I've ever inflicted on a rogue, but that doesn't mean I enjoy the rubbery feel of torn human skin or the metallic taste of blood. I am used to it, though, so at least I'm still able to keep my lunch down. Beta doesn't barf all over the place either, even when he takes in his missing flesh, but his shrill cry of pain suggests he's still not doing so well. He grabs at his open wound, giving me the perfect opportunity to attack again, a chance to kill, but I know I can't take it. Not if I want to keep the older brother occupied so he can't go after Nikki. My back is already unprotected, giving the other wolf the perfect chance to attack, and I quickly whirl my head around. Luckily, the older brother is pretty slow to react and is still in human form. I quickly push off Beta's chest with my hind paws and lunge at him, aiming for his throat. I expect him to shift or try to move out of the way, but he holds up his arm in self-defense instead. It's a stupid move on his part, and I clamp my jaw around it and bite down hard. With a cry of pain, the older brother shifts, and I almost choke again when I come away with a chunk of fur coated in blood. Gross. I spit it out and then spit again, which isn't easy when you're a wolf, and try to dislodge the vile taste from my mouth. It's even worse than Beta's shoulder, and I wonder how I always force myself to bite down when I know this will be the end result. I guess it's not like I really have a choice. Chapter 77 Saffron POV Time stands still. From the corner of my eye, I watch Nikki's small, grey wolf fly across the field towards POW. Her coloring is a few shades lighter than I'm used to. Dad's fur and that of the rogue brothers and the grey wolf are all the same shade. So were the coats of almost all the rogues that ever attacked us. Nikki's, though, is lighter and different. My gaze travels across the field, searching for Zara, fully expecting her coat to be that shade too. Instead, it's light, like Nikki's. Her wolf is pretty much a bigger version of her little sisters, although nowhere near as big as her opponents. As she fights him, the two of them blend together, making it hard to tell where one wolf ends and the other begins. Zara's keeping him distracted, so my gaze moves to Jess, and when I see her, I literally can't tear my eyes away. Jess's wolf is a beautiful golden red, and her opponent forms the perfect snow-colored backdrop. I've never seen wolves like that before, and I could spend a lifetime watching the play of colors on the green grass. Now, in the middle of an attack, it is probably not the time. I check up on Nisha and Joshi next. Her wolf has a jet black coat, another surprise, and she's tiny, half the size of her opponent. She's not hurt yet, thank the goddess, and she seems to be keeping the rogue kid occupied. Joshy's being a big help, too. He looks like his usual human self, and I'm pretty impressed by how he wields his backpack like a weapon. He bashes the rogue kid over the head with it, and I have to stifle a wolfy grin. Time speeds up again, and I return my attention to Beta. In the time that I've taken to survey the field, he's managed to shift into his wolf. It's large and grey and perfectly normal. A larger version of the older brothers, the exact shade as every wolf I've ever known until today. If I ever get out of here alive, I'm going to find out why POW's pack has so many unusually colored wolves, but I really shouldn't be thinking about that now. I focus on attacking Beta and run at him, gambling on my smaller size. I expect to land another blow, but Beta dodges my attack. It worries me that he can move so fast despite his large size and his shoulder injury, but at least he doesn't seem to notice that Nikki's gone. The older brother hasn't either, and I buy her some more time by attacking him. I even managed to get a bite out of his back, though the wound is shallow. The older brother tries to return the favor, lunging after me, but I twist away from him and dance back to safety. There's a tree a few feet away, and I lead my opponents closer so I can keep it at my back. As I lead them in a slow backwards dance, I survey the scene around me one more time. I know I should focus on fighting, but I need to make sure my friends, my pack, are okay. I can no longer see Nikki, and none of the wolves are chasing after her. Either they're really incompetent, or they've got allies patrolling the forest. Allies that have captured Nikki and have taken away our one chance of getting help. Even if they have, maybe we still stand a chance. I turn to look at Jess, a bright red beacon in the green grassy clearing. She and the white wolf are circling each other, but neither one makes a move to attack. What is she doing? I specifically said that her job was to take down the white wolf quickly and help the kids. If she keeps wasting time, the rest of us will all end up dead, and the remaining wolves will team up and take her down. I let out a growl and turned to check up on Zara. The good news is that she's following my orders, but the bad news is that she's going way overboard. She's fighting like a madwoman, and she's way too distracted to do a good job of it. She keeps shooting glances in the direction that Nikki went, then checks up on the kids, and finally looks at Jess. I know I'm doing the same thing, but at least I do it carefully between attacks. Zara's literally swinging her head around as she fights. She looks like an enraged mother wolf protecting her pups, which makes her too angry to really focus. At the rate she's going, she'll wear herself out and get herself killed long before help gets here if help is even coming. Desperately, I switch my attention to Nisha and Joshy. The rogue kid is on top of the little Nisha, pinning her to the ground, his jaw repeatedly snapping at the air near her throat. Joshy keeps bashing him on the head with his bag while Nisha moves her head this way and that, trying to avoid his sharp teeth. I'm so busy watching the terrible scene unfold that I don't see Beta's attack until it's too late. His teeth close around my leg, and blood gushes out. I shake him off and ignore my injury, which is minor compared to some of the ones I've had in the past, and fight back. I try to focus, and I really do, but this time, it's not just my own life on the line, it's the lives of two little kids and my new friends. At the rate we're going, the rogue kid will kill Nisha and then little Joshy, who can't even shift. Then he'll attack me, or Zara, or Jess. Whichever one of us he goes after, he won't be able to hold off an extra wolf. Plus, Zara's probably going to exhaust herself eventually, and Jess's technique might work against one wolf, but it will never work against two. Me. I can barely hold off two wolves. I won't be able to handle three. The only good thing that's come from my plan is that maybe, just maybe, Nikki is safe. The rest of us, we're as good as dead. This is all my fault. I should have come up with a better plan. I know I shouldn't be thinking about that now, but I can't help it. When my older brother attacks me again, I'm distracted. I manage to fight him off, but I leave my back wide open. Beta takes full advantage and slams into my side, sending me flying. My back and head crash into the solid tree trunk with a painful, rib-crunching thud, and then I see stars. Chapter 78. Logan. I dribble the ball across the court and pass it to Gray. Jasper intercepts and takes a jump shot, evening out the score. Nice shot, I shout, even though we're technically not on the same side. We have a big game coming up next week, and Coach Sanchez split us up into evenly matched teams for practice. For us wolves, it's as much of a challenge not to use our superior speed and strength as it is to play well. It makes the games fun, which is why so many of us are on the team. The game resumes, and a few minutes in, Jasper manages to steal the ball again. He has a clear shot at the net, and I wait for him to take it, but he drops the ball. I don't mean he screws up or drops it by accident. Jasper literally freezes in place, lets go of the ball, and watches it as it bounces away. Zara. He shouts her name over the link. Jasper. I freeze on my way to retrieve the ball. What's going on? One of the humans on the team, who obviously can't link, takes the ball and dribbles toward the net. None of the wolves try to stop him, and when he scores a point, a few humans cheer while everyone else stops in confusion. Zara, Jasper cries again, his voice raw, hoarse. It's a cry of pain, of longing, of heartbreak. What is it, Jas? I ask. She's dying. He wraps his arms around his waist, almost doubling over with the pain. What? Where is she? I cry, breaking whatever spell Jasper has rooted in place, and he runs for the door leading outside. Where do you think you're going? Coach Sanchez shouts after him. Jasper ignores him while the rest of us link and quickly try to come up with an excuse. We don't want our human coach or teammates to get suspicious. He has homework. He needs to take a dump. He's going to hurl. The suggestions keep coming. We're so used to doing this whenever a wolf kid does something weird that it only takes us a few seconds to settle on a good one. Jasper was supposed to pick up his little brother. I yell to Coach Sanchez as I break into a run after my beater. His mom's going to kill him. And you, Patton? Here's my ride, I call over my shoulder. You're all a bunch of maggots, Coach Sanchez barks, but his heart clearly isn't in it. Jasper and I are his two best players, and we've been training really hard this year. We haven't missed a single practice or left early, and he knows it. Dismissed. I glance back at the coach in time to see him spin around and march toward his office. He takes large, even steps, arms swinging, a habit he hasn't been able to shake since his army days. It's also why he always yells at us, but he's a decent guy, so we don't really mind. I take off after Jasper, and all the wolf kids follow. Zara's their beta female, so obviously, they care about her, too. Still, I know it looks suspicious to the human kids that half their team doesn't bother to change out of their gym clothes or grab their stuff from the locker. It makes no sense for us to be running out of the gym after Jasper because he supposedly forgot to pick up his little brother. Gray, stay with us in case we need backup. The rest of you go to the changing rooms and try to act normal, I order. And grab our stuff and bring it back to the pack house. Yes, Alpha, they all yell and change direction. Great game, one of them shouts after us. See you tomorrow, calls another. The human kids join in, so that's one crisis averted. Jasper, I call after my beater as Gray, and I struggle to catch up. What's going on? I don't know, Jasper cries. I don't know. Instead of running toward my car, the keys, which I belatedly realize are still in my locker, Jasper turns and runs across the street. I spot Caitlin walking down the sidewalk, texting someone, but she doesn't look up, and I forget all about her as I focus on Jasper. I don't know where he's going, but I don't bother questioning him. His mate is in trouble, and he's drawn to her. He may not know exactly what's going on, but he knows which direction to take. We'll get to her, I tell him, even though I have no way of knowing that. How can Zara be dying? I just saw her. She was fine, more than okay, making googly eyes at Jasper and giggling when he said something about condoms. I chose to believe he was talking about health class, since we were still at school, but who knows with mates? What could have happened to her in the last hour? She was going to head home with Saf and a few of the kids. Did she get hit by a car crossing the street? Step into a bear trap? Get shot by a hunter? What if Saf's hurt, too? I mean, what are the chances of anyone getting hurt on the way home from school? But if Zara's dying, what if Saf is too? I try to focus on my mate, hoping I can pick up her emotions. Only I've never been able to do that. I don't know if it's because she can't link or because we haven't accepted each other as mates and bitten each other to seal the deal. Mates always bite each other within hours of first making eye contact, so it's not like I know what's normal for this stage in our relationship. It doesn't matter anyway. What matters is that Zara's dying, and we have to help her. We jog past the elementary school and then into the forest of trees. We ran along the path we used to follow before we all got our licenses and started driving to school. We need to shift, Jasper calls over the link. Not yet, I tell him. A little further in. We can't shift until we reach the packland. If a human saw us, we could be dooming our entire species. Jasper knows it, the lesson is too deeply ingrained in all our minds, and continues to run, sneakers pounding against the grass. I'm impressed that Gray has no trouble keeping pace and doesn't interrupt or ask any questions. Then again, his pack always sticks together. We run for about 10 minutes, but none of us is even slightly out of breath. We're probably moving faster than the cross-country team, faster than the sprinters, even, which is why there are no wolves on either team. It's way too boring running that slow. Now, Jasper yells, suddenly shifting in mid-air and tearing his gym clothes to shreds. It's way too soon, too far from Packland. For him to do that, to take that risk, Zara may already be dead. Before I have time to shift, too, a searing pain tears through me. Saffron. It feels like she's right here, with me, but not. It feels as though she's crying out in pain and begging for my help, even though I know she's still far away. It feels like my mate is dying, and there's nothing I can do to save her. Gray, clean up, I shout, shifting and destroying my own clothes. Gray stays behind to pick them up because protecting the pack is still a priority, while Jasper and I run. A few seconds later, I hear Gray's sneakered feet chasing after us, but their pounding gets fainter and fainter as we take the lead. We race through the forest as one. I can feel myself drawing closer to my mate, but she's still so far away. Another shot of pain sears through me. She's barely holding on. Then, Jasper howls as if someone's torn out his soul, and I know we may already be too late. Chapter 79 Saffron POV Saffron, a soft, melodic voice, whispers in the wind. It takes me a second to remember why it's familiar. It reminds me of Mom. Every night, she would tuck me into bed and tell me a story. Sometimes, it was about a brave werewolf princess going on adventures, rescuing princes, and defeating dragons, but other times, I would convince her to tell me my favorite story. The one about how she came to name me Saffron. Close your eyes, my little treasure, she'd whisper, kissing me softly on the forehead. The memory resurfaces now from somewhere deep inside me, and I hear Mom's melodic voice as she says, and then I heard it, one word, Saffron, whispered in the wind. Open your eyes, my Saffron. The female voice isn't Mom's, but it sounds like it's straight out of that story. I don't know why I think that, I just do. I think it has something to do with the way those words are whispered in the wind, floating over me like magic. I listen to the voice and slowly pull my eyelids apart. I feel like I'm waking from a wonderful dream, like this morning when Luna woke me with breakfast. Sun filters in through my eyelashes, and I smile groggily as I look around. A towering figure looms over me, a giant tree. Get up, child, the wind calls, circling me. I lift my head, and pain shoots through my skull. The wind stays with me, soothing it, and I slowly turn my head. Then, my heart nearly stops. Two large, angry wolves are advancing on me. Beta and older brother. Memories come flooding back. Walking home from school. Caitlin talked non-stop and then finally rushed off back to her locker for her math book. Walking some more and stopping in this clearing. Then, Zara, Jess, and I formed a wall between the kinds and the wolves attacking us. My stupid plan. Followed by Nikki running to get POW. Fighting to keep the enemy distracted and, finally, getting flung at the tree. I know I must have only been out of it for a few seconds since Beta and older brother hadn't had a chance to tear me to shreds. When I glance around the field, Jess is still perfectly fine as she circles the white wolf, but Zara is injured. Her light grey coat is coated in blood, and a growl from my older brother reminds me that if I don't act fast, I'll be next. As I struggle to get to my feet, the world around me spins. I feel drunk, though the dizziness I feel isn't from beer. Nope, it's entirely thanks to my collision with the tree. I've actually never been drunk, not after seeing what alcohol does to Dad, but I figure this is what it would feel like. Except I can't clear it the way he does, by making me cook, binging on food, and then passing out on the living room couch. My only choice is to fight through the nausea and stay strong. My older brother realizes my struggle and breaks into a run. He moves fast, I know he does, but it all feels like it's happening in slow motion. My vision blurs, and the world around me spin, bringing his triumphant look in and out of focus. I edge backwards until my tail brushes the solid trunk of the tree. Older brother growls, prepared to strike, and pushes off the ground with his hind paws. As he launches himself at me, his drooling muzzle opens wide, putting his sharp teeth on full display. I watch them move closer and closer to my throat and count down the seconds I have left. 10, 9, my pulse starts to race wildly in my chest. 8, 7. Older brother's white canines come closer and closer until they're only inches from my flesh. 6, 5. I've never been so near death, and I know this could be it. 4, 3. I hold my breath. 2, 1. Then, at the last possible second, I throw myself to the side. I regret it the moment I crash to the ground. The impact rattles the contents of my skull and reverberates through my entire body. For a split second, the dizziness gets so bad that I think I might actually throw up. I really don't want to regurgitate the remnants of Joe's Pizza. If I do, there's no way I'm ever eating there again. Which means I can bid farewell to my 50 dates with Logan. Well, assuming I get out of here alive and he doesn't change his mind. I whine pitifully from the pain, but I know no matter how much I hurt, it can't even begin to compare with older brother. As I land on the ground with a thud, he continues on a direct trajectory toward the tree. He tries to stop himself desperately, but momentum keeps him going. There's no way for him to prevent what's about to happen, and I see a momentary look of oh, shit on his wolf face before he slams headfirst into the tree. There's a loud crack, and then he slides down and falls limp on the grass. I don't have time to check if he's still alive. I have to help my friends, which means taking down Beta. Now that he and I are about to fight one-on-one, the odds are 1,000 times better. His shoulder injury has stopped bleeding, but it probably hurts like a female dog. My own head is still throbbing, and the dizziness doesn't entirely dissipate, but at least my nausea ebbs, and my aversion to Joe's Pizza dissipates. Hooray for more days. I get to my feet and glance at Zara. Her coat is covered in even more blood now. The multiple, heavily bleeding wounds and missing chunks of flesh on her left side don't look good, but at least she's still standing. Her opponent is covered in blood, too, though it's hard to tell if it's his or Zara's. I watch him briefly, and it's a relief to see him moving slowly like he's tired, injured, or both. I dread checking on the kids, fearing Nisha's already dead, and maybe little Joshie too. I swivel my head and then gape in surprise, tongue lolling. Nisha is panting next to the rogue kid, who's lying on his side, unconscious. Nisha's throat glistens in the sun, which means she's bleeding, but she seems fine otherwise. Meanwhile, Joshie, the hero, is holding a large rock over the unconscious wolf's head. The rogue kid starts to regain consciousness, and Joshie smashes the rock against his scalp, rendering him unconscious again. Brutal. I turn to Jess next, and of course, she's still circling the white wolf like she's got all day. She's made literally no progress. Her opponent's coat is a pristine white, and Jess doesn't have a single wound on her beautiful red coat. It's like she's not even trying. Like she's at some lame school dance, and she plans to shift her weight back and forth while the rest of us die. I feel a wave of disgust, and I'm about to look away when I see her send Zara a panicked look. She tries to rush to help her, but the white wolf cuts her off, headbutting her in the side and sending her sprawling. Jess gets to her feet and tries to rush past him again, but he keeps her contained. She tries to switch strategies, attacking him, but he just dances out of the way and keeps circling. I frown as she attacks again and again, and he moves out of her way every single time. He doesn't try to harm her, even though she's wide open to attack. It's like he doesn't want to hurt her, or he's just toying with her like she's a pup. What's going on? I'm so busy trying to figure it out that I almost don't notice when Beta lunges at me, his snapping jaw aimed straight at my throat. Chapter 80 Saffron POV. I swivel away from Beta's snapping jaw, dance out of the way, and berate myself for not giving the fight the attention that it deserves. I can't keep getting distracted. I need to defeat Beta. I need to help my friends. I zero in on Beta. My tunnel vision makes the world around me disappear. When I attack, I do it with new resolve, and Beta actually takes a step back. Then another. And another. I don't let him get far. I strike. My body aches from my impact with the tree, and my left leg is still bleeding, but I push through the pain. Again and again, I lash out. My vision blurs in and out, but I don't let it stop me until Beta falls, and I watch his bleeding, battered body hit the grass. I could go in for the kill. I could, but I don't. I've killed wolves before, twice, but both times they were accidents. The first time was 3 years ago, and he twisted away as my teeth latched onto his neck. I didn't let go quickly enough then, and it snapped a quick death. 4 years, the snapping haunted my dreams, and then, I slowly began to forget until last June. I'd underestimated the damage I'd caused, and the rogue bled out, even though I never intended for his wounds to be fatal. Dad was furious. When he saw what I'd done, he beat me within an inch of my life as if the guilt wasn't enough. Dad kept shouting that we were the good guys. That we were defending ourselves. That we didn't kill. We never killed rogues. I remind myself of that as I circle Beta's unconscious body. He's alive, and he'll heal, but from the looks of it, he won't be in fighting shape for a few hours at least. I leave him be and go check on my older brother. I try to run, but my injured leg forces me down to a wolf version of a jog. I prefer to stay still, or at least walk, but I don't have time to waste time. Not when my friends need help. Aside from a large bump on his head, older brother looks fine. His chest rises and falls at a steady pace, so he looks like he's taking a nap. I can't risk him waking up and attacking my friends, so I wrap my jaw around his neck. His blood tastes disgusting, but it needs to be done. I try to be gentle so he doesn't die, but if he weren't unconscious, I know he'd suffer. When the job is done, I head toward the kids. They've got it covered with Jose's rock and Nisha's constant circling, but I don't want to take any risks. When I reach the rogue kid, I tear a chunk out of his neck. Nisha yelps and Joshi screams, but I don't have time to comfort them or explain. I check on Zara next and break into a full-out run despite the pain. She's got flesh missing on her sides and flank, and she's swaying on her feet, barely staying upright. I lunge at her opponent. I aim for his neck, but the dizziness makes my vision fade in and out. When I end up with a mouthful of the shoulder instead, I figure I'll take what I can get and clamp my jaw shut. He shakes me off, and I prepare to lunge again, until a blur of black streaks across the field. For a second, I think the black wolf is on our side. That POW sent him, or that he's a pack wolf who accidentally came across us on the way from school. I wait for him to join the fight, but he runs straight for me. It's obvious he's going to attack, and I brace myself. It only takes a few minutes of fighting for me to realize that the black wolf is much stronger than Beta and the older brother, though maybe not as strong as Dad. He doesn't have the injuries I do, though, and is not exhausted. Also, his vision doesn't keep blurring thanks to that giant tree, his back and ribs don't ache, and my injured leg doesn't make it painful to move. The black wolf bares his teeth as he circles me and lets out a menacing growl. It's a scare tactic. A warning that I should roll onto my back and surrender, but I ignore it and pounce. He moves back, and my teeth close around a chunk of fur. It must sting, losing that chunk, but the black wolf hardly seems to notice. He doubles back, and we continue circling, attacking, circling. Soon, I'm out of breath, panting, while he doesn't even look winded. My ribs are throbbing in time with my every step, and the searing pain in my leg is so overwhelming it feels like it's on fire. I wish I could lie down and give myself time to heal, but I have to keep fighting. Suddenly, a wolf lets out a howl of pain. I spin my head around and realize it's coming from Zara. She wavers on her feet, having used up the last of her energy. The large, grey wolf attacks her again, and the blow sends her flying. I forget the black wolf and race toward her, but he intercepts me, breaking my leg and sending me crashing to the ground. I don't even hear my own cry of pain over Jess's cry of horror. She tries to get past the white wolf again, but instead of hurting her as the black wolf hurt me, her wolf keeps her contained. Zara watches the scene unfold, and then she does something stupid. She shifts. Suddenly, the blooded wolf transforms into a naked, human girl. Her tanned flesh is bathed in red, and flaps of skin open up to reveal the meat below the flesh. Her eyes flutter open, and I know this is it. This is her goodbye. Zara wants to die a human, not a wolf. There's no other reason for her to shift. No other reason why she'd mouth one last word. I can't hear it from this far away or even be sure she makes a sound, but I see the shapes her lips form. Zara's last word. Jasper. Chapter 81. Saffron POV. The grey wolf stalks towards Zara. She's lying on her side, the blood coating her body so thick it covers her like a second skin. Her eyelids droop, then flutter open, her gaze trained squarely on the advancing wolf. I can see the fear in her eyes, but even worse, I see the resignation. I need to do something. I need to help Zara stop the grey wolf from hurting her. I glance at the black wolf, and he looks momentarily distracted as he gazes at Zara's human form. I know this is my one chance, and I break into a run. My entire body aches and my injuries make every movement slow and painful, but I push myself. I keep going, keep running toward Zara. I'm not even halfway there when the black wolf intercepts me and flings me to the side. The air leaves my lungs, and my insides lurch before I come crashing to the ground with a bone-jarring thud. Pain shoots through my ribs, making it hard to breathe, but it doesn't matter how much I hurt. The only thing that matters is Zara. I struggle to stand again, and then a black blur shoots through my peripheral vision. Nisha. She races across the clearing, but instead of running away, of running to safety, she's heading toward us. She looks like a tiny pup compared to the huge wolves attacking us, but she doesn't let her small size stop her. She slides to a stop between the grey wolf and Zara and bares her teeth as if daring him to try something. When he lets out a wolfy grin and takes another step forward, she starts to growl. Only Nisha's growl is so tiny, so unformed, that it sounds more cute than fierce. My heart swells, but then it nearly stops. Joshi, little, human Joshi, runs up and stands next to Nisha, holding up his rock as if that would do any good. I let out a fierce howl, mentally begging the kids to back off. They should run while they still can. I should have told them to run when I had the chance. Why didn't I do that as soon as I took out the rogue kid? Getting them to safety should have been my first priority, so why didn't I do it? Why did I let them stay? If anything happens to them, anything at all, it'll be my fault. If they die along with Zara, their deaths will be on me. My chest hurts, and I can't even tell if the pain is coming from my ribs or my heart. I tried to save them, Zara and the kids, but now, I can't do anything but watch as the grey wolf lunges at them. First, he picks up Nisha by the scruff of her neck and flings her across the clearing like she weighs nothing. She doesn't even get a chance to cry out before she goes flying and lands with a faint thud so far away I can't even see her. Then, the grey wolf advances on Joshi. The poor kid lifts his rock, but is nowhere near fast enough. I whimper when the grey wolf digs his teeth into Josh's waist and flings him away. Joshi screams, and then there's just the thud of him landing on the grass and silence. The grey wolf, the evil monster who hurt two little kids, continues to stalk toward Zara. I know what's going to happen next, and I think I'm going to throw up. I know I'm going to throw up. He almost reaches her, sharp teeth on full display, when her eyes roll back and her head slumps. My heart thuds in my chest as he sniffs her, circles her a few times, and then turns away with a slight shake of his head. I know what that means. Zara's dead. I let out a howl, and Jess's cry joins my own. The pain of losing Zara is too much. It hurts more than my ribs and my head, and every aching part of my body. Memories of our short time together flash through my mind, tearing me apart from the inside. Zara, coming down the stairs when I first arrived at the pack house. Zara ran into our room, her arms loaded with dozens of shoes. Zara bounces on my bed as she begs me to run away with her. Zara throws her arms around Jasper as he spins her around and around. Zara laughing. Zara crying. Zara smiling. The images keep coming until it's all too much, and only one thought remains. Revenge. When the grey wolf turns toward me, I don't feel fear. I want to fight. I want to make him pay for what he's done. I struggle to my feet, ignoring the pain in my ribs and leg. Then, I get ready to face him. He continues toward them, then suddenly stops like he's changed his mind and runs toward Jess and the white wolf. With a growl, I break into a run, intent on catching up to him, intent on killing him, but the black wolf stops me. He attacks, and I fight back with everything I am. I don't care if I survive. Not anymore. All I know is I have to get past him, get to the wolf who did this to Zara. Get him before he can do the same thing to Jess. The black wolf attacks again, but suddenly, he's grey. His dad, and he's about to break every bone in my body. I hear his menacing growl. He hates me, even though I'm his only daughter. He wishes I'd never been born. Get up, Sophie. I hear Dad's voice in my head. Get up and fight. I get to my feet. I've done this before, and I can do it again. I can fight until every last sliver of energy is gone. I need to hurt Dad for what he's done to me. I need to hurt the grey wolf for what he did to Zara. When he tears a chunk out of my side and blood spurts, I don't even feel it. It's no match for the pain of losing Zara. Nothing is. Fight, Sophie. Dad's voice goads me, so I fight. I tear off his ear. I bite into his hind leg, breaking it. I dig my teeth into his shoulder and refuse to let go. I may be injured, I may be weak, but I put every ounce of energy I have behind every attack. I fight Dad with everything I've got. Then, here's the black wolf again. He breaks free of my hold and strikes back. My body feels like it's on fire, and I start to sway on my feet as I lose more blood. The longer we fight, the worse it gets. My left front leg is broken, and my right hind leg, plus so many parts of me, sting. It feels like I'm bleeding everywhere. I don't even know how I managed to stand, except that Dad keeps shouting for me to get to my feet again and again. Chapter 80 TWO Saffron POV. Every time I get up, Dad slams into me, attacking me over and over again. I know he's going to win, he always does, so I force myself not to think about it. I stand up to him for as long as I can. I just fight, like I have dozens of times before. The moment I've reached my limit, Dad always stops, but today he keeps pushing. I want to tell him it's too much, to beg him to stop, but all I can do is whimper. I'll tell you when you're done, Sophie, Dad shouts, and you're nowhere near done. Dad's voice pushes me to get back up, even though I feel like I'm about to pass out from the pain. A part of me knows I've lost too much blood, and I have a vague feeling of unease, but I somehow manage to stay upright. You can win this, Sophie, Dad shouts. A part of me knows something about him isn't right. This time, he's wrong. When I look up, I don't see Dad anymore. I'm facing the black wolf, and Dad's not even here. His voice is just a memory, and I don't have it in me to keep going. I barely even flinch as the black wolf gets in one final bite. More blood seeps out, blood I can't afford to lose. I know that this time, this is it. This time, I won't survive. In the handful of seconds, before everything goes black, I look around the clearing. The grey and white wolves are circling Jess, who's still completely unharmed. Our eyes meet, and I can see the panic there. The desperation. She tries to break their ranks, to run toward me, but they cut her off. Jess lets out a cry of frustration and tries again, but it's no use. Why aren't they hurting her? They had no problem hurting me and Zara, and even the little kid. I feel a pang in my chest at the thought of my roommate and little Joshi and Nisha. How could anyone do that to them? And why haven't they touched Jess? For a second, I think maybe they mixed her and Zara up, that they assumed Jess was Jasper's mate, but no. When Beta was spying on us from his car, he saw Zara and Jasper together. There's no way he'd have mixed the two girls up, not when Jess is blonde and Zara has jet black hair. So what then? Did they hurt me because they saw me with Logan, the alpha, and Zara because she was with Jasper, the beta? But that makes no sense either. They had no qualms about hurting the kids, so why not hurt Jess? Before I can think about it too much, the black wolf looms over me. I wait for the pain, for death. Somewhere, a wolf howls, and the black wolf looks around. Momentarily distracted, he tilts his head, lifts his muzzle, and breathes in the scents in the wind. The grey and white wolves do the same and suddenly abandon Jess and head for the trees. The moment they turn tail, she breaks into a run, heading straight for me. Her gaze meets the black wolf's, and she momentarily stumbles. Her eyes widen, and then she lets out a piercing howl filled with pain and rage. The black wolf howls back and runs straight for her. I don't know what to expect, but it's definitely not what happens next. He tears out a chunk of her throat, and Jess falls limp, unconscious. I wait for him to go in for the kill, but he shifts into human form instead. Then he scoops her up and starts running into the trees in the same direction the grey and white wolf took. I watch his built frame from behind. Dark hair, pale skin, muscles everywhere, but I don't recognize him. He's some random guy, a stranger who destroyed us. The field around me is a scene of a massacre. There's a pile of shredded clothes where we all shifted, then more piles where our attackers ditched theirs. The rogue kid is lying unconscious where I left him, and his older brother is still passed out by the tree. Beta is lying next to him, half hidden in the grass. I know all three will survive. There is no way I'd make that kind of mistake, and I'm glad for it. Pow will be able to question them, make them talk, make them tell him why they did this to us. At least, assuming Nikki made it to POW in one piece. I glance at Zara one more time, my eyes filling with tears. They blur my vision, and for a second, it looks like Zara's fingers twitch, her hand reaching toward me. I close my eyes a few times to clear them, and when I look again, Zara lies unmoving. I wait, praying for another finger twitch or that her chest will rise, proof that she's still breathing, but she stays completely still. I must have imagined it. The grey wolf wouldn't have turned away from her body if it thought she was still alive. I tear my gaze away and search for Nisha. She's so far across the field I don't even see her. Is she dead, too, or just unconscious? And what about Joshi? He's lying on his back nearby, his leg bent at an odd angle. I can't even tell if he's breathing. My vision grows hazy, and my eyelids start to droop. I don't know how much time passes before wolves start streaming into the clearing. I don't know if they're a pack or if they're the enemy. I'm not sure how much I care. A group breaks off and races through the clearing toward the trees on the other side. It's the direction the wolves took with Jess, so they must be going in pursuit. Others run toward Zara and the kids, and a large greyish-white wolf runs toward me. He looks like Logan but doesn't. POW, the name rings in my head. It's POW. He's finally here. It is too late to save us, but not too late to avenge our deaths. Then, on the other side of the clearing, I see him. Logan. He races toward me in wolf form as I feel more blood seep out of me. So much blood. My eyes start to close, and right before I let go, I try to link. I hope that Logan can hear me because I have one last thing to say. I'm sorry. I'm sorry my plan didn't work. I'm sorry I couldn't save Zara. I'm sorry they took Jess. I'm sorry they hurt the kids. I'm sorry we won't have more time together. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Chapter 83 Logan POV I'm sorry. Saffron's voice echoes in my mind, and I know that she's finally done it. She's managed to link. What's wrong, Safi? I call, racing toward her. I can't see her well at this distance. All I can really tell is that she's in wolf form, and I feel a wave of relief. Why are you sorry? Are you hurt? Saf doesn't reply, and I run faster. I pass a tree in the middle of the clearing and spot two wolves next to it, both of their necks torn to shreds. Seeing them like this brings no satisfaction. I need them alive so I can kill them myself for attacking my family, my pack. I stare venom at the wolf closest to the tree, and then my gaze shifts to the other grey wolf, who looks familiar. There's something about him, something about his scent. I can't put my finger on it or paw, as the case may be, and focus on running toward my mate. When she starts to come into focus, I let out an anguished cry of pain. Her wolf is covered with blood, so much of it that there's a shiny, glistening puddle on the grass surrounding her. Shift, Saf, I cry. You have to shift so you can heal. Why hasn't she shifted already? Why is she still in wolf form? When I saw her wolf, I thought that meant she wasn't hurt. If she were, she should have shifted the moment she no longer needed to fight. It's the first thing we learn as pups, that if we're bleeding, we need to shift to close the wound and speed up the healing. If we're hurt in wolf form, we need to shift so that Dr. Dev can do things like stitch us up or set broken bones. Zara. Jasper cries. I've never heard so much anguish in my beater's voice, not even the time he broke his leg back when we were kids. His scream then hadn't held even a tenth of the pain it does now. My eyes fly to him as he skids to a stop next to Zara's limp, human form, and I let out a gasp. Her skin is red, coated with blood, and for a minute, my steps falter. The bile rises to my throat, unbidden, and I have to fight it back down. How could anyone do this to our Zara? Jasper licks her face once, twice, and then shifts into human form and falls to his knees. No, please, Zara, no. Nisha, I hear someone cry out over the link. Joshi. Oh, my goddess, Joshi. Someone else screams. I knew both kids would be here with Saf and Zara, Nikki too, but I can't see any of them from here. All I can do is hope that they're okay as I cover the rest of the distance to my mate. Saffron. I hardly notice that the rest of my pack is here, led by father, and that he's shouting orders. I don't even care that he's got the sprinters, made up of the pack's fastest runners, chasing down the rogues who did this. Or that the trackers are combing the field, picking up scents and looking for clues that will tell us what happened here. All I can think about is Saffron. Shift, Saffron, father shouts, reaching her side a split second before I do. You have to shift. I skid to a stop next to him. Saffron's eyes are closed. If she passed out as a wolf, I don't even want to think about it. She's not breathing, and Jasper screams over the link. Alpha, Zara's not breathing. Jasper, I whimper. My heart breaks for him. I want to go to my beater, but I won't leave my mate, even if it means being there for him. Not when. I look down at her and whimper again. I'll go. Father tells me. You focus on getting her to shift. I nod as he rushes away and looks down at my mate. Saffron's chest rises and falls, but her breathing is shallow. She's got at least a dozen wounds, including a gaping one in her side that's gushing blood. I know what I have to do. It's not something I've done often, and definitely not something I've tried with this much blood, but I'd do anything to save Saf. Please shift, I beg. When she doesn't, I lean in close, open my mouth, and taste my mate's blood. There's a chemical in our saliva when we're in wolf form, something that kills harmful bacteria and helps blood clot. It's 10 times more potent than the saliva of a dog, obviously, and it could make a real difference for Saf, which is why I try not to gag and lick the gushing wound clean. Obviously, it doesn't feel the same as biting my mate, as marking her. That's an act of love, of pleasure, while this is an act of healing and pain. It tastes like my own blood did when I cut my hand on a Bristol board last week, salty and metallic against my tongue. Only there is a lot more of it now, and it's hard to get it all. Shift, Safi, I remind her with each lick. The bleeding slows slightly but doesn't stop, and when the wound is as clean as I can get it, I move on. I work on smaller wounds next, helping each one of them close. When I'm finally done, the only thing still bleeding is the large one on her side. It seems to have made a difference, though, because my mate's breathing becomes deeper, more rhythmic. I know it's not enough, but I can't do anything more for her as a wolf, so I shift into human form. I don't care if my entire pack sees me in the nude. All I care about is Saffron. Shift, Saffron, I shout as I press down on her wound. Please. It's still bleeding. You need to shift. Come on, Zara, father begs, and I hear the panic in his voice over the link. I can't see what he's doing, but I pray to the moon goddess that it works. Zara and I grew up together. We were friends long before she started dating Jasper, and for years after that, too. Now that they're mates, she's more than just a pack, just family. She's my beater, a part of the inner circle of wolves I will depend on to lead my pack. She's also the only girl Jasper has ever loved, and losing her now. The moon goddess could never be so cruel. Chapter 84 Logan POV Dr. Dev, I need you over here, father shouts. Yes, Alpha, Patricia Devon, the head pack physician, replies in her usual, gruff tone. I spot a flash of movement and a small white wolf races across the field. Alpha, Jasper, I need you both to move so I can look at Zara. Dr. Dev is the only one in our pack who can give father orders, well, except Mother, and she can only do it in a medical emergency. If anyone's hurt or needs her help, she automatically takes on the highest rank in the pack. Her word is law, and whatever she says must be obeyed, even if it means stepping away from your mate. Please, Dr. Dev, Jasper whimpers. Please. Jasper, you need to let Dr. Dev look at Zara, father says gently. He puts an arm around Jasper's shoulder and pulls him back enough to let her through. She immediately goes back into human form, her long white hair flowing past her waist, and she leans forward to examine Zara. Jasper's shoulders tremble as Dr. Dev checks Zara's pulse and opens each of her eyelids in turn. I tense, and my own heart nearly stops as I wait for the doctor to shake her head and tell us Zara's gone, that she lost too much blood and sustained too many injuries. I swallow hard, and 2 endless seconds pass before Dr. Dev makes the gesture. Only it's not the one I expect. With a nod, Dr. Dev starts doing CPR. Breathe, Zara, she orders as she works. Come on, breathe. I feel a wave of relief, which is quickly replaced by fear as a sudden trickle of blood flows past my fingers. Mate, my wolf whimpers. Safie, my love, you have to shift, I beg, pushing down on her wound. I can't hold in the red liquid, keeping my mate alive. I can't beg Dr. Dev to help me, not when that means letting Zara die. So I do the only thing I can. I beg. Please, Safie. You have to shift, okay? You have to get better, okay? Please get better, and I swear I'll tell the entire pack you're my mate. I don't even care if I can't be Alpha. We'll get an apartment together. We can go to college, and have kids, and go on our 50 dates to Joe's Pizza. I feel my eyes water, but I don't care, I keep talking. Please, Safie, just do this one thing for me, okay? Just shift for me, and I won't ask for anything else. A single tear slides down my cheek, and I turn my head up to the sky as I pray to the moon goddess. The sun shines down, warming my face and forcing me to keep my eyelids squeezed tight. As I do, I realize I've only ever prayed to the moon goddess at night, by the light of the moon, and never about anything important. Not like this. Not when my entire future, and my mate's life, lies in the balance. Please, I beg, repeating the words I said to Saffron. Please help Saffron, and I swear I'll never ask for anything else. I look down again, a part knowing it won't work and another praying with all its might that it does. It's at that moment, as those 2 parts of me war with each other, that Saffron's eyes flutter open. Her pupils are so dilated that most of the brown is covered with black. For a split second, her gaze remains unfocused and then her eyes land on mine, and my heart leaps. She's awake. She'll shift, and it'll seal the wounds, and she'll heal. Shift, baby. Shift. Now. I urge. For a second, I think she's heard me. I think she'll do it. She'll shift. Then, her eyes roll back in her head, her eyelids close, and Saffron goes limp. No, I shout. No, 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 no. Please, Saffron. Wake up. Please wake up. I wait. I pray to the moon goddess again. I beg Saffron again. I try everything I did before, but her eyes remain firmly closed. Nothing works. Jasper, get Zara to the house, Dr. Dev suddenly orders over the link. She'll need a blood transfusion, and I want her on a ventilator. Go. Some distant part of my brain realizes Zara's still alive. Some part of me hopes that she'll recover, and I feel a wave of relief for Jasper. The rest of me is so focused on my mate that nothing else exists. My eyes follow the rise and fall of her chest, watching her breathe even as my peripheral vision registers Jasper scooping Zara up and starting to run. Father orders wolves to help him, to follow him in case there's an ambush, but all I care about is watching Saffron make sure she keeps breathing. To make sure she doesn't stop. Logan, let me take a look at her. Dr. Dev orders as she runs up. She shifts from wolf to human in midair and squats down on Saf's other side, trying to move my hands aside so she can press down on the wound. She wouldn't shift. She opened her eyes, but I trail off, my voice breaking. I understand, Logan, but I need you to let go, okay? I got her. Oh, okay. I swallow hard and let go of the wound. The minute I break contact with Saf's warm body, it's like a fist clenches around my heart, and I want to shove Dr. Dev away so I can take her place. Mate, my wolf screams, and I scramble around to cradle Saffron's head on my lap. Her fur tickles my knees, and I run my fingers through it gently as I whisper into her ear. I'm not even conscious of what I'm saying. Whether I'm telling her, I love her, begging her to wake up, or ordering her to shift. I know I can't live without her. I know that if she stops breathing, I will too. Chapter 85 Logan POV Saffron's vital signs are good, Dr. Dev assures me. It's safe to move her as long as we keep pressure on the wound. She gestures for me to take over. As soon as my hands replace hers, she shifts into a wolf and runs across the clearing. When she reaches the pile of torn clothes, she shifts back into human form. She grabs the black tank top that Saf was wearing earlier and then a pair of stretchy black tights that must belong to Zara. The only reason I even know they're stretchy is because Dr. Dev pulls at them a few times to make sure. It actually takes me a few more seconds to figure out what she's doing, but when she starts ripping the tights into strips as she runs back toward me and Saf, it starts to make sense. Press this against the wound, she tosses me the black tank and starts tying the pant strips together and wrapping them around my mate's wolf form. When she's done, the shirt and binding stop the bleeding, freeing up my hand so I can hold my mate. Take her to the house, Dr. Dev orders. I need to get back now to prep for surgery. The girls both need blood transfusions, and Josh's leg has to be set. What about Nisha and Nikki? I hold my breath. Nisha's fine, Dr. Dev says, and I feel a wave of panic for Zara's little sister before she continues. Nikki's back at the house. She's the one who got help. Thank the moon goddess. Don't thank her yet. Get Saffron back to the house, and let me patch her up before you thank anyone. Dr. Dev turns away and shifts, then addresses Father over the link. Alpha, call ahead and have Luna set up 2 4s and get everyone who's injured back to the house. I'll do that, Father shouts, shifting into human form. You 3, go with Dr. Dev. Be vigilant. It could be a trap. Yes, Alpha. The wolf father gestures at all parents of kids my age. Flank Dr. Dev and races toward the house. Logan, do you have a phone? Father demands as I scoop Saf up and get to my feet. It's in my locker. Check their clothes. Father heads toward the discarded clothes Dr. Dev didn't touch and picks up a familiar-looking cheerleading uniform. It's right next to the black jeans Saf was wearing earlier, some little kid clothes, and what I'm assuming must be Zara's purple tank top. I didn't really pay attention to what Zara was wearing, but when we walked them out after school, I noticed Jess was in uniform, even though practice was cancelled. Where's Jess? I demand. Is she back at the house? Jess? Father asks in surprise, looking down at the uniform. Is this hers? I think so. It could belong to some other cheerleader, but Jess is the only one I could see being out here with Zara and Saf. Father lowers his head and inhales. I can smell her. Where is she? Did she get away? Or did they, whatever they are, take her? How many attackers? Father demands, and I realize that I was so focused on my mate, then Zara, and now Jess, that I've completely forgotten my alpha training. Luckily, Father has taken care of everything, ordering the trackers to comb the field for clues. 6, including those 3, Dave Johnson, one of the adults and co-leader of the group, announces. We're locked on their scents. We also picked up 6 of ours, his partner and mate, John Johnson, adds. He runs up and gives Jess's uniform a sniff before running to the middle of the field. I smelled her blood here, but then another scent joined hers, and she disappeared. They picked her up and took her. Father demands. It looks like it, Alpha, John agrees. John and David get a search party together, Father orders, crossing toward the backpacks. 3 clearly belong to the little kids. 1 pink covered with sparkles, 1 purple made of shiny fabric, and 1 blue with dinosaurs on it. The others are Saf's green bag, Zara's black one, and the pink backpack I used to carry for Jess back when we were dating. Father starts to reach for it, then changes his mind and kicks aside a few discarded binders. Then he bends down and picks up a bunch of broken phones. Even from here, I can tell they've been smashed to pieces, so no one could call for help. I'm getting Saffron home, I yell, cradling Saf against my chest as I head across the field. The quickest path takes me past Father, and when I get closer, I spot the last dead wolf. He's so small I didn't notice him at first, but now that I do, I realize his throat is also ripped open. He may be a rogue, but he's just a kid. How could someone kill a kid so brutally, no matter what he did? The other 2 that I get, I'd have done the same thing. I shoot another angry gaze at them, pausing on the familiar wolf. He smelled familiar too, like, that guard. Father, he was following us. That wolf, the one by the tree, I shout and quickly explain that we'd seen him at school and by the pack house. On pack land? Father demands. How did he? Never mind, we'll get to that later. He stalks toward the 2 unconscious wolves. The bigger one, I correct, when he heads toward the other wolf first. Father bends down, examining the wolf, and suddenly shouts, he's still alive. I catch the shock in his voice, but then I'm shocked, too. How can any wolf with a throat torn to that extent survive? Father spins around to face the pack. You too, he gestures at 2 of the closest wolves, get him to Dr. Dev. I want him to recover so I can kill him myself. Everyone else is spread out. I want his accomplices found. They took Jess for a reason, and we're getting her back. Then, we get our revenge. Yes, Alpha. Voices ring out throughout the clearing. Wait, Father shouts suddenly, squatting down next to the other grey. This one's alive too. He's breathing. My own surprised gasp joins dozens of others and soon joins cries of shock as Father discovers that the smaller wolf is still alive, too. How is that even possible? How can anyone tear a wolf's throat without killing them? That would be like shooting someone through the heart and discovering they're still alive. Impossible. If it were the one wolf, I'd chalk it up to a medical miracle. But 3 wolves, with throats, ripped open and identical damage, all still breathing. Who would have done it, and more importantly, how? Chapter 86 Logan POV Logan, get Saffron home, Father orders. I'll take care of everything else. I nod in acknowledgement and reposition my arms so I have a good grip on her wolf form. Her head fits perfectly in the crook of my elbow as I cradle her warm body against my chest, and her fur feels soft against my bare skin. Her chest continues to rise and fall with each breath, and if I focus, I can pick up the steady beat of her heart. All right, everyone, let's go, Father orders as soon as I start toward the house. At first, I jog slowly, trying to get the hang of running with her in my arms. I try to keep my upper body stiff and my arms strong since the last thing I want is to jostle my mate, but I can't keep her from bouncing with each step. Take Nisha and Joshi back to the house, Father shouts the order, presumably to the kids' parents. Yes, Alpha, they reply, and then I hear more footsteps behind me. Clean up, you have 5 minutes, Father orders the next group of wolves. As the name implies, this group is trained to clean up any evidence that might cause an unsuspecting person to freak out and call the cops. They do monthly timed drills, dividing the battlefield, covering up blood with dirt, and gathering up shredded clothes. Even though I can't see them at work, I can picture them doing it now. Tanks, take the rogues to the house. Father issues the next order, his voice so faint I barely pick it up. Tanks are big and muscular, but they're not the pack's best fighters the way warriors are. In battle, they always get the tasks that require brute strength, like carrying the enemy to the pack house. Or chaining up rogues in the dungeon and then putting the fear of the goddess in them during interrogation. Father shouts more orders, but I pick up the pace until I'm running at wolf speed and quickly get out of range of the link. However, I can no longer hear what he's saying, I know intuitively what his orders must be. I know how to coordinate everyone and make sure they're all in sync and doing their job. Father's had me practice in drills since the day I turned 12, and now it's all second nature. If my mate hadn't been hurt, if she hadn't been all I could think about, I would have been right there next to him, issuing orders and getting this done. I take a clearly marked path that leads to the pack house and watch for rogues as I go. I can see Jasper's tracks on the path ahead, so I can assume it's safe, but assumptions got us in this mess in the first place. The girls had assumed the walk home would be safe. Why shouldn't they, when there hadn't been a rogue attack in our town since before I was born? None of us really understood Father's warnings about being prepared in case of an emergency. We all knew there were rogue attacks in other towns, we all heard the stories, but until today, I don't think any of us really understood. Alpha sent us to escort you, a voice announces over the link, and then 2 warriors catch up to me. What they really mean is protect, but I don't protest. I let one of the warriors get ahead of me, taking the lead, and the other stayed behind me, covering my back. If they vigilantly keep an eye out for an ambush, I can focus all my attention on my mate. Shift, Safi, I remind her, hoping that she can hear me. Her chest moves up and down, and Dr. Dev's bindings hold, stopping the bleeding. I repeat the words over and over, but she doesn't wake up. She doesn't shift. By the time we get halfway to the pack house, I'm too out of breath to keep moving, let alone talking, so I start to link. I'm not sure she can hear me when she just learned to link, but I have to try. Shift, I chant, like a mantra, in time with each step. If I focus on repeating that one word, I can pretend my back doesn't ache, and my arms and legs aren't on fire. Even though I'm a wolf, running while carrying my mate isn't easy, and this afternoon's basketball practice, coupled with the run to get to Saf, has really put me in. I think I'm on the verge of collapse when Father catches up to me and shifts into human form. Let me take her, he orders, but he still waits for my nod before taking my mate. As soon as I agree, he scoops Saf up into his arms and continues to run. The fact that he manages to speed up almost to double his pace is a testament to how tired I am and how much my body aches. I was running as fast as my feet would carry me, and yet that wasn't nearly enough. I shift into my wolf, giving my body a chance to rest. I'm so much faster as a wolf that the grueling pace suddenly feels more like a leisurely jog. It allows me to catch my breath and regain my strength so that I can run in my human form. There's no need for me to shift back since Father can carry Saf, but I need to see her face. I need to watch her chest rise and fall. I'm afraid that if I don't, she won't be okay. Saffron's a strong girl, son. Father tells me as soon as I shift back. I wait for him to add that I shouldn't worry, that she'll be okay, but I know he can't promise me that. Who were they? I demand. Why did they do this to us? Rogues, Father growls, and I can hear the pain in that one word, the venom. Rogues killed his parents, my grandparents before I was even born. Rogues destroyed my cousin Hunter Sky's pack and murdered Father's sister and her mate, my cousin's parents, leaving Father and my then 14-year-old cousin to pick up the pieces. Both times, the rogues went after the Alpha and Luna, killing them on sight. Both times, the pack avenged the dead, and the rogues lost. Only the dead were never our age, they were the adults, the pack leaders. What was so different now? Why didn't they go after you and Mother? I demand. Or Jasper and me? Why attack the girls? And the kids? And why take Jess? None of it makes any sense. I have some theories, Father growls, but we'll find out soon enough. When they wake up, we'll commence the interrogation. If the sprinters don't get to them first, or the trackers. Either way, we'll make each and every rogue pay for what they've done to this pack, this family. We'll destroy them for this. Chapter 87 Logan POV My temper boils the rest of the way to the pack house. Destroying the rogues, tearing them apart, limb from limb, will never be enough, not after what they've done to my pack. I'll never forgive them for hurting Saf, like I know Jasper will never forgive them for hurting Zara. No amount of revenge will ever make up for that. I'll carry Saffron the rest of the way, I'll tell Father once we reach the front drive. It doesn't matter that he's my alpha, she's my mate, so it's my order to give. Father hands her to me without question, and I carry her up the stairs to the 4th floor. When I reach the infirmary, Father runs ahead and holds open the door so I can go in first. The moment I step inside, my gaze lands on Zara. She's lying motionless in the bed directly across from the door, and the sight makes my gut clench. Her eyes are closed, her face pale. Only the steady beeping from the heart rate monitor next to her bed tells me that she's still breathing. A mother adjusts the blanket, which hides enough of Zara's torso to keep her descent. My gaze stays glued to those parts of her left bare, the ones covered with blood. The only visible patch of skin is in the crook of her right elbow, where Dr. Dev has hooked up the 4. There's a thin, translucent plastic tube taped to Zara's arm, and the liquid running through it looks more pink than red. Even though it doesn't look like it, I know it's blood, the liquid keeping Zara alive. My gaze drifts to the adjacent hospital bed, where Jasper's been hooked up to an identical plastic tube. He's wearing a hospital gown, one of those baggy, light blue shirts that barely cover his thighs, and his eyes are glued to his mate. For a second, I stand there, watching his lifeblood flow up through the tube, into the blood bag, and then down through Zara's tube and into her injured body. "How is she, Luna?" Dr. Dev calls from across the room. She's changed into her scrubs and lab coat, and her gaze is focused on a bunch of metal surgical instruments and syringes that she's arranged on a metal tray. "Her vitals look good," Mother says, checking the screen. She turns to look at Dr. Dev, her gaze passing me, and she lets out a horrified gasp. "She hasn't shifted?" Mother whispers, looking down at Saf's wolf. I shake my head, no, but Dr. Dev doesn't give me any time to worry. She spins around and starts shouting orders. "Set her down on the bed next to Jasper. Luna, finish up over here." "Yes, Dr. Dev." Mother rushes toward the tray of surgical instruments while I carry Saf to the bed. When I reach it, I stop, unsure of which end to place my mate on. The bed's made for humans, not wolves, since we all shift before any medical treatment. It's modern, too, with lots of buttons to prop someone up or raise and lower them. When Jasper broke his leg, he spent a whole day here, and we made a game of trying out all the buttons. That was years ago, and yet nothing in this room has changed. The only thing that really has is us. We're older now, we both have mates, and our mates might both die. "How's she doing?" Jasper asks as I decide on a spot in the middle of the bed and set Saf down. It takes me a second to realize he's asking about Saf, not Zara. I hesitate. I don't know what to say. I don't want to voice my thoughts aloud, to tell my beta that I'm scared, but I don't have to. Jasper knows. He reaches over to touch my arm in a show of support, but his other arm is hooked up to the 4, so he can't quite reach it. I give his shoulder a quick squeeze instead and then turn my attention back to my mate. "Logan, I need you to move so I can take a look," Dr. Dev orders. The moment I step aside, she starts checking Saf's vitals. Her breathing's steady, but she's lost a lot of blood. "She can have mine. There's no question about it. We'll have to see if you're a match first." "We're mates. Shouldn't we be a match if we're mates?" Jasper gasps, and Dr. Dev's eyes widen slightly, but that's all the reaction my announcement gets. "That's not how it works, Logan," she tells me. "Luna, I need you to check Saffron's blood type." "Yes, doctor." Mother leaves the surgical instruments alone and starts rummaging through one of the drawers. "I keep everyone's blood types on file," Dr. Dev explains, "so I had a list of matches for Zara before she even got here. I knew Jasper was a match, and I have backups on standby. I would have done the same for Saffron, but I don't have her medical records. Here it is." Mother rushes over with a small, blue device. She runs her fingers through Saf's fur and pushes chunks aside, bearing a patch of white skin. "This should only take a second," she tells the unconscious Saf, pressing down the flat tip of the device against her side. When it beeps, she shows the readout to Dr. Dev. "Run it through the database," Dr. Dev orders. "Yes, doctor." Mother rushes back across the room and starts typing furiously on the computer. "Logan," Dr. Dev turns to me, "we need to get Saffron to shift for the blood transfusion. I'm going to inject her with a solution that will hopefully get her to wake up." "Hopefully? Is it safe?" I ask when Dr. Dev takes a needle and a small vial of yellow liquid from her lab coat pocket. There can be side effects, but we don't have a choice. A blood transfusion has never been done on a wolf before, and I don't think you want Saf to be the first. Dr. Dev takes a step toward Saf and then looks up at me. Do I have your permission to proceed? Yes, doctor, I whisper, my eyes glued to the syringe as Dr. Dev slowly fills it with the yellow liquid from the vial. Chapter 88 Logan POV. Once I give Saffron the shot, you tell her to shift. Dr. Dev waits for my nod before she continues. You'll have less than a minute before she passes out again, so be prepared. Yes, doctor. Ready? Dr. Dev flicks the tip of the syringe with her index finger twice and then lowers it toward Saf. She spreads her fur apart, leaving a small injection site on her torso, and then inserts the syringe. She pushes on the end slowly, and the liquid enters my mate's body. Several seconds pass before she removes the syringe, and then several more, yet absolutely nothing happens. Saf stays in wolf form, with her eyes closed, and Dr. Dev and I stand to watch her breathe. Even Jasper turns away to look, his hospital gown rustling as he adjusts his position. Should I tell her to shift? I say into the ensuing silence, broken only by the beeping of Zara's heart rate. What was the point of the shot? Is this what it was supposed to do? Or did it not work? Not yet, Dr. Dev shakes her head. But it should kick in any second. Now, she pauses after each word, and then several more seconds pass, yet once again, absolutely nothing happens. My heart races, and I can feel my palms start to sweat as I hold my breath and wait. A part of me starts to give up hope, while another part of my brain keeps repeating that it will work. My mind goes back and forth like that, over and over. Then, suddenly, Saf jolts awake. She gasps for air, and then her eyes fly open. They lock directly onto me, and I fall to my knees next to her bed. Saffron, I cry, cradling her head. I meet her wolf's eyes, and she stares back into my human ones. Then, I remember what I'm supposed to do. Saf, you need to shift. You're still in wolf form, Saffron. Dr. Dev tells her. You need to shift. Saf's gaze leaves mine to look up beyond my shoulder and then returns to me. Shift, Safi. Mother leaves what she's doing at the computer and comes to stand on the other side of Saf's hospital bed. My mate's eyes widen when she hears Mother's voice, and she tries to lift her head so she can look at her, but she can't seem to summon up enough energy. After another second of trying, she drops her head back on the hospital bed but still doesn't shift. Shift, Saffron, Jasper echoes, and Saf's gaze moves to the hospital bed behind me. Then, Father's deep baritone joins in, and Saf's gaze snaps to a point behind Dr. Dev. I hadn't even realized Father was still in the room, but there he was, urging my mate to shift along with the rest of us. No, I can't, Saffron says. I feel a burst of joy at the sound of her voice echoing in my head. She linked. She finally linked. Then, her actual words register. Please, I beg, running my fingers through the soft fur at the nape of her neck. You have to try. No, her gaze returns to mine and doesn't leave this time. I'm hurt, Logan. Honey, I know you're hurting, Dr. Dev says gently, but if you want to heal, you need to shift. I need to heal, Saf mumbles, her voice getting weaker. I have to be a wolf so I can heal. No, you don't. You have to trust me. Dr. Dev's voice gets louder and more insistent. You need blood. I have to hook you up to N4. You need to shift into human form right now. Please, Saf, I whisper, kissing the top of her head. For me. Shift, Safi, Mother adds, placing a gentle hand on Saf's shoulder. You have nothing to be afraid of, dear. Saf looks from Mother to me to Dr. Dev. Then her gaze moves to Father, and mine does, too. Can you shift, Saffron? Father asks, and when she lets out a whispered no, he issues the order. Shift right now. Father's voice is laced with authority. It's not a request, and Saffron's eyes widen in fear as she's forced to obey. No, please, she whimpers, but I know she's no match for an alpha's order. She knows it too, and I can see the panic in her eyes as she looks from me to Father and back again, willing one of us to stop what's happening to her. I want to beg Father to take the order back. No one should be forced to shift against their will. It's one of the first things I learned as Alpha, one of the first things Father taught me. It's too cruel an order to give, even to your worst enemy. Yet I know that if I tell Father to take it back and Saf doesn't shift, she might die. What happens next is worse. Pain transforms Saf's face as her body starts to shift against her will. 1 second, she's coated in fur, and the next second, it's gone, replaced by human flesh. She's still in wolf form, and the sight is both horrifying and grotesque. Everyone in the room gasps, and I mean everyone. Father, who issued the order. Dr. Dev, who gave Saf the medication so she could shift, Mother and Jasper, who are unwilling witnesses, even me, as I'm forced to watch my mate suffer through something horrifying. Safi, I cry, hugging her half-human, half-wolf form as if that will somehow take away her pain. Dr. Dev, do something. I can't. She squeaks. Alpha, what's happening? I don't know. Father moans, sounding as shocked as the rest of us. I didn't think. I shouldn't have. Oh goddess. Saffron whimpers again, and parts of her start to flicker in and out of human form. Her flesh suddenly regains fur, and then her human head replaces her wolf's. Her limbs are transformed into human arms and legs next, but her torso remains a wolf's. The entire time, she cries, first whimpering and then screaming once her head becomes human. Chapter 89 Logan POVO, my goddess, Mother whispers. She lets out a strangled sob, and I feel my heart clench. The sight of my mate going through the most excruciating transformation of her life is horrifying. I want to take her pain away and make it my own. I want to gag and throw up. I want to cry and shout at the moon goddess. I just want this torture to end. Safi, I love you. I'm here for you. I grab her human hand and hold on tight. I don't let go, not even when it suddenly turns hairy. I won't let go when it shifts back into a paw and then returns to the human hand. I keep holding on for dear life, being there for my mate in the one way I can. Saf keeps shifting, and her torso finally transforms into her human form. The bindings Dr. Dev secured around her chest stretch, and the sound of ripping cloth echoes through the infirmary. Saf's human form is covered with fur from head to toe, and when the bindings fall away, the fur underneath is caked with blood. I grip Saf's hand tighter and stay with her as her fur flickers in and out until it finally disappears, which leaves my mate 100% human and passed out cold on the hospital bed. Her forehead is beaded with sweat, and her face is still contorted in a grimace from remnants of pain. Her body is covered with blood and cuts of various sizes, and my eyes snap to the large one, the one that Dr. Dev had to bind. It's a huge gash below her left rib, but now it has finally closed. Logan, I need to check Saffron's vitals. Dr. Dev snaps into action. She pushes me aside and starts checking Saf over, lifting each of her eyelids and then pressing 2 fingers to her neck. I nearly suffocate before she finally announces, her vitals are good. I barely register the size of relief as I rush to Saf's side. I throw my arms around her, careful not to press myself against any of her wounds, and start to sob. I don't think I've ever seen anything so horrifying. Watching my mate suffer and imagining the kind of pain she must have gone through without being able to stop it, it's all just too much. I'm so sorry, Logan, Father whispers, putting a hand on my shoulder. I didn't know, I swear, I never intended. He trails off, but I don't need him to finish the sentence. I know that Father didn't mean to do this to Saf. He's never ordered a wolf to shift before. I know because he warned me against it many times, the same way his own father warned him when he was young. Now, I guess we all know why. You had to do it, James, Mother whispers. If you didn't order Saffron to shift, my brain takes a few seconds to process Mother's words, and I realize she's right. If Father hadn't ordered Saf to shift, she might have died, but she didn't. She's still here, in human form. Dr. Dev can start the blood transfusion, and then she'll be okay. She has to be. You saw, Father's voice cracks. I did that to her. Hey, Mother coos softly, crossing to Father and wrapping her arms around him. I don't think I've ever seen Father broken up like this before, especially not when he did the right. Father, I whisper, and he looks up. You saved her life. Father stares at me for a second, and then his shoulders sag in relief. Despite what he just put Saf through, if it wasn't for him, she might still be a wolf, and then it might be too late. Okay, time to get to work, Dr. Dev interrupts. I know that was, well, you were all here, but now we need to help Saffron. Yes, Doctor. We all try to pull ourselves together. I wipe tears from my eyes with the back of my hand. Father straightens his shoulders, and Jasper turns back to watch his unconscious mate. Logan, get Saffron a blanket, Dr. Dev orders, and find something to wear. It takes me a second to process her words, and then I gently let go of my mate and get to my feet. I look at where Dr. Dev's pointing, at a cabinet in the far corner. Inside, I find a pile of blue hospital gowns that match Jasper's and slip one over my head. As an afterthought, I toss a second one to Father. Then, I look for something to cover my mate with and locate 2 blankets, one paper thin, one thick. By the time I return to my mate's side, Dr. Dev has attached a clip to her index finger, and the heart rate monitor next to her bed beeps steadily. Dr. Dev takes the thin blanket from me, covers up Saf so she's decent, and places the thicker blanket at her feet. Then, she turns to Mother. Luna, have you pulled up a list of blood donors? It's almost ready, Mother calls from the computer. Dr. Dev nods, checks Saffron over one more time, and then moves on to Zara. The monitor next to her unconscious body is tilted away, so I can't see the screen, but Dr. Dev stares at the information on it for some time. Is she okay? Jasper asks, his body tensing. Yes, Jasper. Dr. Dev walks up to him and starts checking him over. Zara's condition hasn't changed. How are you feeling? Fine. If you start to feel weak, you let me know, okay? I have a second donor waiting for my call, so you just say the word. I'm fine, really. Dr. Dev looks like she's about to say something else, but then Mother calls her over. Yes, I'm printing the list of Saffron's donors now, she says as the printer whirs to life. A lone white sheet of paper slides out, and Mother hands it to Dr. Dev. 6 matches. That's a good number for O negative, but these 2 are just kids. Dr. Dev pauses. Oh, Millicent definitely won't do, she adds, referring to the 90-year-old pack elder who often consults Father on important decisions. That leaves 3 donors. Alpha, can you locate them for me? Of course, Doctor. Father grabs the piece of paper and looks it over. He seems to be back to his commanding self, all traces of his earlier torment gone. These 2 aren't here. I sent Dave Johnson off with the trackers so that he won't be back for hours. The same goes for Alexis Fields and the other sprinters. So that just leaves 1 donor then, Dr. Dev says. Yes, it does. Father nods. I'll go and locate Caitlin. Chapter 90 Logan POV. Father starts to open the door, then changes his mind and turns to face us. Dr. Dev, Jasper, he waits until they both look at him. The fact that Saffron is Logan's mate is not public knowledge. I don't want it to leave this room. Understood? No, I snap. I want people to know. I can't even remember why Father convinced me to keep it a secret in the first place. None of that matters now, anyway. Not when my mate almost died. When I still don't dare hope that she'll be okay. We can discuss this once Saffron recovers, Father tells me, raising his arm to silence me when I start to protest. If you decide you want the pack to know, we'll make the announcement. In the meantime, can I have everyone's word to keep this between us? I nod, and once Jasper and Dr. Dev have both been sworn to secrecy, Father leaves to find Caitlin. A few seconds pass in silence, interrupted only by the Saffron's heart rate monitor. It beeps steadily but at a much faster rate than Zara's until I start to worry. Is that normal? I ask Dr. Dev her heart. You don't think it's beating too fast? It's well within the normal range. See this green line on the screen? If her heart rate's too fast or too slow, it will turn red, and an alarm will sound. I nod, and Dr. Dev starts setting up the 4 in preparation for the blood transfusion. Jasper turns back to watch Zara, and I lean down and press a soft kiss on Saf's cheek. The adjacent bed is too far away, so I settle on the edge of my mate's, Close enough to feel her body heat but not so close as to worsen her injuries. A few minutes pass, and I spend them watching her features for any signs of movement. Then, as the heart rate monitor beeps the time away, I slowly start to panic. It shouldn't take Father this long to get to Caitlin's room and bring her up here. Unless she's not in her room. What if she went to the mall or something, and Father couldn't find her? Or what if, by the time he does, Saffron takes a turn for the worse? I feel a wave of panic, which I'm about to voice aloud, when the infirmary door bursts open, and the room is thrown into complete chaos. "Stop it right there," Dr. Dev shouts as several dozen people start to stream into the small room. They all talk at once, and none of them seems to be paying any attention to the doctor. "Stop." Mother marches to the middle of the room, her commanding voice drawing everyone to a halt. The room falls silent, and she turns to Dr. Dev, giving her a chance to be heard. "If you're not injured," the doctor states matter-of-factly, "you can't be in here." Everyone starts talking at once, and then the crowd parts to reveal two men, each carrying a child. There's Nisha's father, with her small, skinny human form cradled in his arms. She's awake but a bit dazed as she stares wide-eyed at the people surrounding her. Next to them is Josh's father, carrying the battered and bruised boy. His leg is broken by the looks of it, and his little body is covered head to toe with large, purple bruises. "I want Joshua over here." Dr. Dev points at the hospital bed directly across from Saf's, and Nisha over there. "Parents can stay, everyone else, out." She doesn't wait to see if they obey as she hurries to get the kids settled into their hospital beds. Mother takes care of everyone else in the room, escorting the grandparents, aunts, uncles, siblings, cousins, and Miss Elmer's, the elementary school's only wolf teacher, out of the room. They all obediently exit, except one little girl who digs in her heels. "Nikki. I want to see my sister and my friends," she sobs, her gaze glued to Zara's bed. Large tears slide down her cheeks as she stares wide-eyed at her injured sister. "I know you do, Nikki, but you can't be in here right now," Mother says gently, taking her hand. But she's hurt." "Nikki, do you trust me?" "Yes, Luna." Nikki nods. "I want you to go with Miss Elmer's." Mother pauses until the teacher, who's stopped in the doorway, nods. "Dr. Dev is going to take really good care of Zara. And I'll be right here with her the whole time. Promise?" "Promise." Mother smiles gently. "You okay watching her, Olivia?" "Of course." Miss Elmer's nods and takes Nikki's hand. "Come on, why don't we leave and let the doctor work?" She herds Zara's sister out of the room and closes the door behind her. Once everyone's gone, the room turns into a flurry of activity. Dr. Dev checks over both kids and says that Nisha, who got away with just a concussion, should be moved to the recovery room. It's basically just a converted guest room next to the infirmary, and Mother leaves with Nisha and her parents to help them get settled. Josh is a lot worse off since he's still unconscious, and his leg is obviously broken. Since he hasn't shifted yet, Dr. Dev explains that it will take a lot longer for him to heal. She puts his leg in a cast and then sends him and his parents off to the recovery room, along with a small bottle of painkillers in case the kid needs them when he wakes up. I'm not sure how long all of this takes. 15 minutes? 30? Definitely too long for Father to try and locate Caitlin. Saf looks pretty pale, and her pulse is racing along at almost twice the rate of Zara's. The line on the monitor is still green, but her breathing's kind of shallow, too. So I get Dr. Dev to check her over one more time. What if Father doesn't find Caitlin? I voice my fears aloud. He'll find her. Mother comes over and rubs my back the way she used to do when I was a little kid. But what if she's at the mall? Or at a friend's house? What if by the time he finds her, it's too late? Chapter 91 Logan POV. We still have quite a bit of time to locate Caitlin, Dr. Dev says. I'm giving saffron fluids. She shifted, so of course, there is no need for surgical repair. I've already started treating her for hypovolemia, and her blood pressure's steady, so it looks like Dr. Dev keeps talking, and I try to follow, but science has never been my best subject. I vow to pay better attention in biology class because all I managed to decipher from Dr. Dev's explanation is that it's a good thing that Saf shifted and that the 4 is helping keep her stable. I'm about to ask Dr. Dev how long when I hear a familiar voice out in the hallway and realize there's no need. Where are we going, Alpha? Caitlin whines. I don't think I've ever been this excited to hear her nasally, high-pitched voice. To say I've always found Caitlin annoying is an understatement. When Jess and I were dating, she used to hang around all the time like a leech, and it drove me crazy. One time, I even prayed to the moon goddess that she would just stop talking and disappear. I'm so glad that she didn't because right now I want to throw my arms around her. That's how glad I am that she's finally here. The infirmary, Father says from outside the door, and the knob starts to turn. I have a lot of homework, Caitlin complains. Is that right? Father asks distractedly, clearly only half listening. Like in all my classes. Caitlin's tone sounds completely fake, but then again, it is Caitlin. She never ever sounds genuine, and she's always exaggerating. I can't believe she's still doing that now when Saf and Zara are hurt, and Jess is missing. I feel my annoyance start to grow, and quickly squash it. I owe Caitlin for being here, for saving Saf's life. And I make a vow to myself that I'll try not to find her fake or annoying ever again. I should really, Caitlin starts to say something, but she never finishes the sentence. The moment the infirmary door opens, her gaze lands on Zara, and all the color drains from her face. She says, taking a step back, only to slam into Father's chest. He grabs her shoulders to steady her, and she looks from him to Zara and back again, her eyes filled with panic. I know how hard it is to see Zara like this. When I first walked in, I probably didn't look so good myself, and Caitlin and Zara are way closer than she and I are. They hang out and do girls' stuff, like talk about makeup and have sleepovers, or whatever it is girls do. I try to think of something to say, some way to comfort her. I wish I could tell her Zara will be okay, but I can't give her false hope. I even wish I could say it's not as bad as it looks, but I don't really know if that's true either. All Dr. Dev said is that Zara's condition is stable, and that's all we can hope for right now. Caitlin, I say her name softly, and her eyes snap to me, then move down to look at Saffron. With a gasp, she tries to spin around, but Father tightens his grip on her shoulders and holds her in place. Caitlin looks like she's going to barf, and I look down at Saf again and see her through fresh eyes. Her body is caked with dry blood, and she looks so pale. I wouldn't even be able to tell she was alive if it wasn't for the heart rate monitor's rapid beeping, and I put a gentle hand on her arm to calm myself and make sure her skin was still warm. Caitlin, Dr. Dev crosses the room. I suggest you close your eyes. Close my eyes. Caitlin's already pale face turns even paler. Luna, get Caitlin onto a gurney. No, Caitlin squeaks. I have to go. I left my math book in my locker. Caitlin tries to back away, and her gaze moves wildly around the room as if searching for an escape route. I know this has nothing to do with her math book, and not just because I've never heard Caitlin care about homework before. She's obviously freaking out. The horror of what happened to Zara and Saf, the violence brought upon our pack, may be really getting to her. Caitlin, look at me, Mother says soothingly. I'm going to help you lie down, okay? Lie down. Caitlin looks bewildered. Yes, come. Mother leads her past Saf's bed and nudges her down onto the adjacent one. The entire time, Caitlin's eyes dart around the room, looking from me to Saf, to Zara, to Father, and back again. What are you going to do to me? She whimpers when Dr. Dev pushes forward the 4. She looks like she's about to pass out, barf, or both. I can smell her fear, and it gets stronger with each passing second. Alpha didn't explain? Mother asks, glancing back at Father. He just looks confused, which, to me, doesn't really say much one way or the other. Mother seems to understand, though, because she nods. Please, Caitlin's lip trembles. Don't hurt me. I'll do anything you want. I swear. Anything. Caitlin, no one's going to hurt you. Dr. Dev tries to pat her on the shoulder, but Caitlin jumps back. It doesn't help that the doctor is holding a needle. Caitlin takes one look at it and completely freaks out. Tears stream down her face, and she scrambles to the very edge of the hospital bed. This isn't going to hurt one bit, Caitlin. Dr. Dev tries to calm her down. You won't even feel the needle. Just close your eyes, and it'll all be over in a second. No, please. Caitlin tries to move back further, but her back hits the wall, and she pulls her knees up to her chest. It's obvious that she's terrified of needles, and that worries me. What if she's so scared she refuses to do the blood transfer? Or does she keep fighting so Dr. Dev can't insert the 4? Could father order her to stay still, or does Caitlin have to agree to give blood of her own free will? Caitlin, I say softly, trying to appeal to her in the only way I know how. I'm so grateful to you for helping Saffron. Helping? Caitlin repeats, as though in her panic, she's completely forgotten why she's here. It really means a lot to me. To all of us, I continue, and the smell of her fear starts to recede. It does. Caitlin still sounds confused. I owe you for this one, I add. If there's one thing I know about Caitlin, it's how much she loves calling in favors. Like Dr. Dev said, it doesn't even hurt. Jasper's giving blood to Zara now, and he's fine. Right, Jasp. Yeah, Jasper says hoarsely. It might make you feel a little thirsty, but it doesn't hurt. Thirsty? Dr. Dev rushes toward him. Okay, Jasper, I think you've lost quite enough blood for one day. No, Jasper tries to push Dr. Dev off when she moves to unhook the 4. Hey, Dr. Dev snaps, and Jasper looks at her. I'm going to remove this 4. I don't think Zara would be very happy if she woke up to a dead mate. She'll wake up. Jasper's entire face transforms. I can't guarantee anything, Jasper, but she's doing well. Her heartbeat is stronger, her blood pressure looks good, and she's reacting really well to the transfusion. Then I should keep giving her blood, Jasper insists. Jasper, if you give too much blood, I'll have to find someone to give you a transfusion. Dr. Dev chuckles as if she were making some sort of joke. Now, I don't have time to argue. Okay, Jasper nods reluctantly, and Dr. Dev peels back the tape and takes out the 4. Luna, can you monitor Zara while I set up Saffron and Caitlin? Oh, and get Jasper some water. Of course. All right, Caitlin. I want you to close your eyes while I do this. It might help to breathe. Logan, talk to her. It's going to be okay, I tell Caitlin while Dr. Dev takes her arm and looks for a vein. Caitlin no longer looks terrified, but I don't want to risk it and keep talking. Remember when you were cheering last year and your foot slipped? Zara's hand slipped, Caitlin snaps, sounding more like her usual self. I'd forgotten that Zara was still on the cheer squad then, or I wouldn't have brought it up. Caitlin's eyes fly open, she looks at Zara and turns pale again. Dr. Dev still hasn't had time to insert the needle, and I try to think fast of a way to distract Caitlin. It's too bad you quit Joe's this summer, I say. It's a lie since I actually celebrated the day she quit by eating an entire pie and naming it Caitlin Quit, but I'm pretty sure she doesn't want to hear that. It is. Caitlin sounds surprised, but she relaxes again, and Dr. Dev prepares to insert the needle. Sure. When the girls are better, we can all go to Joe's to celebrate. You, me, Saf, Jasper, Zara, and Jay, I trail off. Jess. Caitlin whispers, and I realize my mistake. Jess, Caitlin's best friend, is still missing. Is she? All done, Dr. Dev interrupts. Caitlin, you just lie back and let the 4 do all the work. Chapter 90 TWO Logan POV. For a few minutes, no one says anything. Dr. Dev is busy switching between Caitlin and Saf, ensuring the blood transfusion is working. She keeps checking Saf's monitor, and I stare at it, too, hoping the numbers on it will start to make sense. Since none of them turn red, and there is no warning alarm, I figure everything is going well. Meanwhile, Mother is doing the same thing as Dr. Dev at Zara's monitor. While she isn't looking, Jasper gets out of his bed, staggering a little. I start to get up when it looks like he's going to fall, but Mother catches him and helps him to Zara's hospital bed. Once he's settled at the edge of her bed, the way I am at the edge of Saf's, Mother checks the monitor again, and I return to watching Saf. Alpha, I need to talk to you. A wolf I recognize as one of the tanks peeks his head into the infirmary. His face pales slightly at the sight of Zara and then pales some more when he spots Saf. He manages to school his features before Father turns to look at him and instantly stands at attention. Not in here. Father shakes his head. He gestures for the tank to exit into the hallway and then follows him out and closes the door behind him. I hear their footsteps recede down the hall so we can't overhear, and I turn back to watching Saf. Her monitor continues to beat at a steady rate, and I listen to see if her heartbeat is slowing down at all. It's still so much faster than Zara's, which worries me, but Dr. Dev doesn't seem concerned. "Caitlin, how are you feeling?" she asks. "Fine," Caitlin squeaks, but she doesn't sound fine. I turn to look at her, and she's back to being all pale and panicky, like before. Her gaze is glued to the door, and I feel a wave of panic. What if she freaks out and tries to run for it? If her fear of needles, blood, or whatever it is that's making her act like this wins out, Saf's in trouble. Father's no longer guarding the doorway, and I prepare to jump to my feet and cut her off if I have to. "Logan, talk to her," Dr. Dev orders. "Caitlin, I'm going to hook you up to a heart rate and blood pressure monitor. I want to make sure you're doing okay." "And no. Please don't. I'm fine, I swear." Caitlin starts to shake. "They're not needles, Caitlin." "They won't hurt one bit," Dr. Dev says, then snaps, "Logan. Talk." "Right. So, Caitlin, I try to think of something to say to her since usually she's the one who does all and I mean all the talking. So, we have a big game coming up." "The game?" Caitlin looks kind of dazed. She usually gets super excited about games since she cheers at every single one, but I don't blame her for not caring. I don't even know why I mentioned the game. It's not like I actually planned to attend. Yes, a few hours ago, the game mattered a lot. Now that Saf and Zara are both in the infirmary, I couldn't care less about it. "Caitlin, I need you to slide your right hand in here." Dr. Dev saves me from having to come up with another stupid response. She slides the blood pressure cuff around Caitlin's arm and then hooks her up to the heart rate monitor. "See, that's not so bad." "Sure, it's fine," Caitlin says absently like she's not even paying attention. "Your heart rate and blood pressure are a little elevated, but Dr. Dev," Father interrupts, swinging the infirmary door open. "I need you to look at the rogues." Dr. Dev doesn't have a chance to reply. At that exact moment, one of the heart rate monitors spikes through the roof. The beeping speeds up to an insane pace, and a warning alarm starts to blare. My own heart races, and I break into a sweat. My gaze immediately snaps to Saf's heart rate monitor, but the lines haven't turned red, the way Dr. Dev said they would if something was wrong. I turn to look at Zara's next, but it looks fine too. "Caitlin, take deep breaths," Dr. Dev says, and I realize it's her heart rate that's racing a mile a minute. "I'm going to unhook the 4. What about Saffron?" I cry as Dr. Dev pulls out the needle. "We're going to try again, Logan, as soon as Caitlin's vitals are back to normal." "Caitlin, are you okay?" "I am fine," she whispers, and her heart rate starts to slow again. "Okay. You just breathe. Alpha, the rogues will have to wait." "What rogues?" Caitlin asks, looking at Father, and her heart rate immediately spikes again. Her eyes widen, and then her pulse speeds up even further. I wrinkle my brows and turn to stare at her. I can smell her fear again, and she's clenching her hands together so hard her knuckles are turning white. It's odd that her pulse started racing the moment Father mentioned rogues, and that it keeps speeding up when she talks about them. "They can't hurt you in here. Right, Alpha?" Dr. Dev gives Father a pointed look. Suddenly, I realize Caitlin must be afraid of another rogue attack. That's why her heart rate kept racing, and not for any reason my suspicious mind just conjured up. "They're chained up in the dungeon," Father tells Caitlin. "I have tanks guarding them right now. They can't get to you." "But they alive?" Caitlin whispers. "Only for now," Father says, but Caitlin's heart rate still speeds up. "This is why I need you to try to relax, Caitlin. The sooner we can get the transfusion going, the sooner Dr. Dev can go look at the rogues. I don't want them dying on me before I can question them." "Dying?" Caitlin whimpers. "Just remember they can't hurt you in here," Dr. Dev repeats. Now that's enough rogue talk, Alpha. Caitlin needs to relax. Right, she whispers, eyes filling with tears. Relax. She starts taking deep, calming breaths, but her pulse does slow down. Okay, are you ready to try again? Dr. Dev finally asks. I am. Caitlin squares her shoulders, and Dr. Dev reinserts the 4. This time, I don't take any chances. I can't risk Caitlin freaking out again, so I think of something to say. Hey, want to hear about the time Jasper and I visited the Luna? I ask. No one ever passes up the chance to hear about the richest and powerful werewolf of all time. Chapter 93 Logan POV OMG. What's her house like? Are there, like, a gazillion rooms? Caitlin squeals, her eyes aglow. I can feel a Caitlin-induced headache coming on, but I remind myself that she's saving my mate's life and that I should be nice. Plus, Dr. Dev left 10 minutes ago to check on the rogues, and I do not want Caitlin to freak out while she's gone. Okay, yeah, Mother's right next door, checking on Nisha and Joshi. Dr. Dev also has her phone set up, so it'll alert her if anyone's heart rate or blood pressure spikes, but I still don't want anything to happen on my watch. The Luna's pack house is a lot bigger than ours, I tell Caitlin, and she owns way more land than we do. She does, Jasper chimes in. She practically owns the entire town. Wow. Caitlin closes her eyes, leans her head back against the bed, and sighs. She's really rich too, huh? Loaded. Our pack is pretty well off, but compared to the Lunas, we're downright poor. Once Saf's all better and we've taken care of the rogues, I'm going to take her to see it. I can't say that Luna's pack house is fun to visit, but it's definitely worth seeing. Jasper and I spent at least 20 minutes describing everything we saw during our visit, from the color of the living room couch. I think he just made that up, and it's not actually red, but who knows, to the sizes of the bedrooms. Those are pretty memorable, and we take turns describing the 4-poster beds, silk sheets, and ensuite bathrooms. Our pack may not have the same luxuries as Luna's, but it's definitely a much better place to live. We don't have to dress up in suits every time we come down to dinner, and we can just grab whatever food we want from the buffet and chat with our friends while we eat. If we actually had to carry on polite conversation while eating fancy-looking, plain-tasting food served by Omegas every day, we'd go crazy. We tell Caitlin all that and explain how boring Luna's constant lectures about comportment and proper behavior are, but she doesn't seem to care. I'm sure if she were to visit and see for herself, which she never will since invitations are very exclusive, she'd change her mind. Not that I really care, as long as it keeps her occupied. How's everyone doing? Dr. Dev pops back in and checks Saf's and Zara's vitals. Once she's sure everything looks good, she lets us keep talking, which gives Jasper and me a chance to describe Luna's huge 200-car garage. Caitlin wants to know about the ballroom next, and we just finished making up what the chandelier looks like, huge and expensive, made of gold and diamonds, when Dr. Dev comes over to unhook Caitlin's 4. Caitlin, want you to rest for a while before you head back to your room, okay? Sure, Dr. Dev. Caitlin smiles. She seems like she's back to her old self as she turns to me and Jasper. What about clothes? Clothes? I look at her in confusion. She's still wearing her cheerleading uniform. It's not like Dr. Dev made her strip or anything. At the Lunas, silly, Caitlin giggles. Yeah, they wear clothes there, Jasper deadpans. It's not a nudist colony, I add, trying to stifle my laughter. No, Caitlin rolls her eyes. I mean, do they all wear really fancy designer clothes, like all the time? Of course. I look at Jasper for help. I don't know anything about designer clothes. Sure, all the time, he smiles. When this is all over, I'm going to take Zara for a visit. We have to present her to the Luna anyway, now that she's beat her, but I want to see what she thinks. Me too. I grin since he's pretty much echoing my earlier thoughts. It'll be worth putting up with Luna's lecture just to see Saf's reaction when we first get there, and a road trip with my mate and best friend will be so much fun. We could stop by to visit Jake and Ryan and maybe even stop in to see my cousin Hunter. Hey, are there really 5 pools? Caitlin interrupts, changing the subject. 5 pools. I frown. Oh, like everyone says that. Caitlin rolls her eyes. I haven't counted. I shrug. But there are a lot. Oh, definitely, Jasper adds. There's one for lane swim and one with diving boards. And a wave pool, I add, even though we visited in December when it was snowing, and I didn't notice any pools. Definitely, Jasper, who I'm pretty sure didn't either, agrees. And one with all these fun slides. When we finish describing the pools, Caitlin plies us with questions for what seems like forever. I'm at a point where I want to shift and jump out the nearest window before Dr. Dev finally tells Caitlin she's free to go. I hold back the sigh of relief that threatens to escape and force myself not to rub my temples. Thank you so much, Caitlin. I owe you one, I say, and I do mean it. She may be annoying, but she saved my mate's life. Yeah, thanks, Caitlin, Jasper adds. He waits until she leaves, and at least 30 more seconds pass before he adds, well, that was painful. Yeah, but she saved Saffron. I shake my head. I really should be more grateful. I know. Jasper sighs. There's just something about her. She always seems so fake. I say it automatically and instantly regret it. I shouldn't be thinking these things about Caitlin right after she saved Saffron. How ungrateful does that make me? Yeah, Jasper nods, oblivious to my thoughts, and shallow. I nod in agreement and instantly feel guilty about it. Once Saf's better, I'll have her help me pick out a thank you gift for Caitlin. Probably something expensive, like jewelry, since I hate to think it, but Jasper is right. Caitlin's always been pretty shallow. Hey, Jasp. I ask, and when he doesn't reply, I glance over and realize he's fallen asleep. It doesn't look all that comfortable since he's sitting upright in a chair next to Zara's bed, with his head resting on his shoulder. I relax back in my own chair, trying to make myself comfortable, which isn't easy. I could always move to Caitlin's old bed since she's not coming back, but the thought repulses me. It'll still smell like Caitlin, and if that's not bad enough, the fact that it's further away from my mate is the deciding factor. Instead, I watch her breathe, her chest rising and falling at a steady rate. The heart rate monitor continues to beep, but slower now, at a rate that almost matches Zara. I listen to it for a while, as it slows down until it and Zara's monitor are in sync, beeping slowly and steadily. Logan, sweetie, Mother whispers with a gentle hand on my shoulder, and I realize I must have fallen asleep. She smells like bacon and eggs, and when I open my eyes, I realize it's because she's holding a heaping plate of breakfast. Mother's smiling, but I still spin around to check on Saf and see that she's okay before I relax again. The room is dark, with only a soft light filtering in through the window. For a second, I think the sun is just setting, but when I look out, I realize it's dawn. Jasper. His dad calls his name softly. Wake up, son. What? Zara? Jasper jerks awake a lot more violently than I did and jumps to his feet. Like Saf, she's still unconscious in her hospital bed. Her machine is beeping slowly and steadily, in sync with Saf's, and Jasper quickly relaxes. Here. My mother hands me a plate of food. I'm not really hungry, but I take it from her anyway. Jasper's dad hands him a similar-looking plate, which he doesn't look any more excited about than I am over mine. Mother kisses my forehead, then walks over to Saf and tucks a strand of hair behind her ear gently before leaving. Jasper's dad pats his shoulder, whispers a quick healing prayer to the moon goddess, and follows her out. She looks so pale, Jasper whispers once both our parents are gone. He spears a piece of sausage with his fork, dips it in some egg, and then sets it back down on his plate uneaten. His gaze returns to Zara, his look pained. I know, I whisper back, staring at my own mate. Sometimes I'm not even sure she's breathing. I watch Saf for a while and catch the slow rise and fall of her chest. She is. I lean forward and touch her hand just to make sure. She's warm. So's Zara. Jasper's voice quavers. But she's just so still. She's a wolf, and she's strong. She'll get better. I don't know if I say those words for my own benefit or his, but they have to be true. She's strong. Jasper agrees, but his voice breaks. Why weren't we there, man? We've been mates for less than a day. Why did I go to practice? Why did I let her out of my sight? It's not your fault. It's not our fault. I swallow. We'll never let them out of our sight again. Never, Jasper vows. Chapter 94. Logan POV. Jasper and I sit for a while, silently watching our mates. I don't have much of an appetite, so I just push my food around on my plate and then set my unfinished breakfast on the floor next to the bed. With my hands free, I move my chair closer to Saf's bed and play with a strand of her hair until my eyelids start to droop. I fall asleep again and wake up when 2 sets of footsteps enter the infirmary. When I see Dr. Dev, followed closely by Father, I jump to my feet. Is everything okay? I ask. Oh, yes, Dr. Dev smiles. Saffron and Zara are recovering nicely. The rogues? I ask. Did you catch the other rogues? Not yet, Father shakes his head. The trackers think the rogues used a nearby river to mask their scents. And the prisoners? It's the oddest thing. Dr. Dev shakes her head. None of them shifted, but they're all healing nicely. We can expect them to wake up in the next couple of days. Couple of days? I frown. What about Jess? I've sent out more trackers, Father frowns, but I don't have a good feeling about this. We need to talk with Nisha and Joshua next and see if they can tell us anything we don't know. We? You mean you want me to? No, I can't leave Saf's side. I shake my head vehemently and sit back down in my chair. We won't be far, and Dr. Dev already okayed it. But I start to protest, but Dr. Dev interrupts. Saffron is recovering nicely, Logan. Her injuries have mostly healed, and I wouldn't be surprised if she were up and about in an hour or 2. Really? I grin. What about Zara? Jasper cuts in, worry lacing his voice. Zara, too, Jasper. I actually expected her to wake up sooner than this. Then why didn't you see? Jasper sounds worried. I'm sure she will any minute now, Dr. Dev smiles. Her vitals are strong, and her injuries have all healed. There's no reason for her not to. The 2 of us share a relieved look, and Jasper relaxes back in his chair. Come, Logan. Father gestures for me to follow. When I hesitate, he adds, we're only going next door. Dr. Dev will give you a shout if anything changes, right, Doctor? Of course. I hesitate. I don't want to leave Saf's side. When she wakes up, I want her to look up and see that I'm right there next to her. If she's not up for the next few hours, though, it shouldn't matter if I step out briefly. Father's not great with the little kids, and I want to see if Joshi and Nisha know anything that might help us track down those rogues. All right, I nod. I kind of need to go to the bathroom anyway, and a few minutes talking to the kids won't hurt. Plus, Dr. Dev and Jasper will be right here the whole time, and I'll be right next door. If Saf wakes up, I can get here in less than 10 seconds, and if anything happens, I'll be able to hear the alarm. I follow Father out of the room, take a detour to the bathroom 2 doors down, and then follow him to the bedroom where Dr. Dev has Nisha and Joshi. I hear giggles coming from inside, but when we reach the door, the kids suddenly go all quiet. When Father opens the door, Nisha is tucked underneath a bunch of blankets in the bed to our left. Joshi is in the other bed, his covers folded back from his leg, which is propped up in a cast. Both kids look like they're sleeping, but their eyes are squeezed way too tightly, so it's obvious they're faking. Father doesn't say anything as he steps inside the room. He grabs a chair and sets it between the kids while I choose to lean against the door frame. Hello, Nisha and Joshua, Father says loudly. Both kids pretend to wake up. Nisha does a very exaggerated stretch, followed by a very fake yawn, and Joshi tries to act startled and asks, "What time is it?" "Good morning." Father smiles indulgently. "Good morning, Alpha," the kids chorus, looking guilty. "Good morning, Alpha," Nikki adds, peeking out from behind Joshi's bed. "You shouldn't be in here, Nicole," Father scolds, but I can see he isn't really mad. "Sorry, Alpha," Nikki whispers, looking down at the floor, "but no one will let me see Zara." "I notified your parents as soon as I could, Nicole. They're already on the road, and you can see Zara together as soon as they get here." "Okay," Nikki nods. "Is she going to be okay, Alpha?" "Zara's strong," Father says. Really strong. She grins, staring at him admiringly. She's the pack beater. That's right. Father nods. Now, how's everybody feeling? My leg's broken, Joshi announces. You'd think the kid would be upset, but he's grinning from ear to ear. I have a cast, see? Nikki got me a marker, and she signed it right here. He points at the large red heart with Nikki's name printed inside. I want to sign it too, Nisha pouts, but Dr. Dev won't let me get out of bed. It's not fair. Nikki got to sign it. Nikki didn't fight off a bunch of rogues and get a concussion. Father smiles at Nisha indulgently. I had to get help. Nikki pouts, and her lower lip trembles. Father immediately realizes his mistake, and his eyes widen. He looks like a deer in headlights, and I picture the gears in his head spinning as he scrambles to find a way out of this mess. Usually, Mother's the one who spends time with the pack kids, come to think of it. I'm surprised he asked me to come with him and not her. He looks at me now, pleading for help, and I take pity on him. You did a really good job, Nick, I tell her, stepping into the room and ruffling her hair before carefully sitting down at the edge of Joshi's bed. If it weren't for you, we wouldn't have gotten there in time. Really? Nikki stares at me wide-eyed. Of course, Father takes over. You were very brave and did a great job. So did you, Nisha. Thanks, Alpha, they both chorus. I helped, Joshi chimes in, and I almost laugh when Father gets that deer-in-the-headlights look again. He did, Nisha nods. He fought the rogues. You shifted? Father asks in surprise. All of us first shifted on a full moon, with adults around us to help with the transition. Shifting for the first time in a rogue battle. I can't even imagine. I didn't shift. Joshi shakes his head and his lip trembles. I can't shift yet. But he killed the rogue with a rock, Nikki announces. You weren't there, Nikki, I remind her, though it's really cute that she'd make up a story to make her friend feel better. But Joshi and Nisha told me, Nikki says in her most authoritative voice. Joshi hit the rogue with a rock. Really, really hard. I did. Joshi nods. Twice. He was the smallest rogue, Nisha adds, but he was still a lot bigger than us. He was, Joshi agrees. And he was really scary, Nikki chimes in. Yeah, he was. Joshi looks up at Father hopefully. I know he's looking for praise, but Father doesn't seem to notice. He just nods. Since you were so brave, I smile at Joshi. Do you want me to sign your cast? Will you? His eyes widen. Of course. Father looks at me gratefully. We'll both sign it. Joshi practically shoves the red marker in Father's hand, and he leans down and writes "Get better soon" on the cast. He signs it Alpha, and Joshi leans forward and runs his fingers over the thick block letters. Father hands me the pen next, and I write "You were very brave" and sign it with my own name. Can I go to the bathroom? Nikki suddenly asks, raising her hand. Of course. Father nods. I'm surprised that Nikki doesn't just go. It's not like we're at school. Then, a thought hits me, and I stop her with a hand on the shoulder. Just don't think about sneaking in to see Zara. I give her a pointed look. Dr. Dev and Jasper are both watching her right now. Oh, Nikki's face falls. Never mind then. You'll see her soon, Nick, I promise, I tell her, closing the marker. Dr. Dev thinks she'll be awake soon, and then it'll be okay to see her even if your parents aren't back yet. Really? Nikki grins. She seems to forget her worries just like that and leans over to see Josh's cast. What does it say? What does it say? Nisha practically bounces on her bed. I'll read it out for you if you sit still, I tell her, but then Joshi and Nikki start describing it all at once. They don't seem to make any sense as they talk over each other, but Nisha seems to understand because she squeals with excitement and talks right back over both of them. All right, Father claps his hands when all their talking and squealing gets really loud and out of control. Now, I need you three to tell me exactly what happened yesterday afternoon. Chapter 95 Logan POV start from when you were walking home, I suggest. Saf, Zara, and Jess picked you up from school. Yup, Nikki replies, popping the P. And Caitlin, Joshi chimes in. Caitlin? Father frowns. She wasn't there, I interrupt. She couldn't have been. Yeah, she was. Nikki nods vigorously. I saw her. Me too, Nisha adds. Well, she couldn't have been there, I snap. I can't believe they're making up stories now when we need to find those rogues and rescue Jess. She was there, Nikki shouts. Nisha and Joshi nod. Caitlin was still at school, I say patiently, trying not to raise my voice. I have to force myself to take a deep breath before I do something I'll regret. I saw her as we ran out of the gym. And her scent wasn't anywhere near that clearing, Father adds. If it were, the trackers would have said so. That's because she left. Joshi sits up straighter. She left. I raise an eyebrow. Maybe talking to the kids is a waste of time. I should just go back to the infirmary to sit with Saf and wait for her to wake up. When did Caitlin leave? Father asks, sounding equally annoyed. I do, Joshi mumbles, looking away. Did she walk home with you or not? He demands. She did. Nikki moves closer to Joshi, and her knee hits his leg. Oh, Joshi complains. So Caitlin walked home with you guys, Father presses, and then she left. The kids nod. I clench my hands into fists, losing patience fast. She had a test, Nikki adds. Yeah, Nisha chimes in, a math test. Father frowns, and we exchange a look. Didn't she say something about math? Remember? I ask him. Maybe the kids aren't making stuff up, and we're actually getting somewhere. Perhaps. Father sighs. I had other things on my mind. I think what he really means is that he zoned out. He wouldn't be the first to do that while listening to Caitlin. It's actually something I need to work on since she saved Saf's life. I owe her. And I do remember her saying the word math, I just didn't really pay attention. Maybe she had a makeup test or something? I doubt it matters. I turn to the kids. So after she left, you walked home with Zara, Saffron, and Jess? The kids nod. Finally, we're getting somewhere. Okay, then what happened? I ask. We were playing wolf spin with Sophie. Nikki starts to grin, but then her face falls. Logan, is Sophie hurt too? Joshi doesn't think so, but Nisha says she's going to be fine, I interrupt. Dr. Dev thinks she'll be up in a couple of hours. Can we go see her? Nikki begs. Please. Pretty please. Joshi adds. With a wolf on top. Nisha finishes. If you tell us everything that happened, she can visit you when she wakes up, Father replies. Zara, too? Nikki asks. Zara, too, Father agrees, and the kids cheer. Now, what is this wolf spin? Wolfie spin, Nikki corrects him with a giggle. It's when you do this, Joshi adds. He opens his arms wide and accidentally hits Nikki in the shoulder. Yeah, this. Nikki giggles as she throws her arms out and almost hits Joshi in the face. Then you spin around and around and around. Okay, I interrupt. So you were playing Wolfie spin, and then the rogues showed up. The kids all nodded again. How many rogues were there? 1, 2, Joshi starts to count. 5, Nikki interrupts. 6, Nisha argues. 5, Nikki says a little louder. Nah, Nisha raises her voice too. There were 6 rogues. Yeah, 6, Joshi chimes in. No, 5, Nikki yells, glaring at them. Silence, Father shouts, and the kids stop talking. They all turn to look at him with matching, wide-eyed, hurt stares. What Father means, I jump in, is that you're going to take turns telling us what happened, like at school. Now, who wants to go first? Me, Nikki and Nisha raise their hands in the air and start waving them. No, me, Joshi adds, raising his hands a few seconds later. Okay, Nisha, I point at her, go. No fair, Nikki scowls. I wanted to go first. Me too. Joshi pouts. You can have your turn after Nisha's done, I tell them. I glance at Father, and he nods in approval. Nisha's the obvious choice. She's the only one who saw and heard everything that happened. I know Nikki left to get help, so she would have missed half the fight, and Josh is too young to shift, which means he also can't link. Go on, Nisha. So we were spinning around, Nisha says, and around, and then Zara said we had to run, but we couldn't run because the wolves came, and then hey, slow down, I interrupt. Take a deep breath. Now, what happened next? We were really scared, but then Safi said we had to fight and Saffron said that. I ask in surprise. She did. Nisha turns to Nikki and Joshi for help. She told me to run really fast. Nikki chimes in while Joshi nods. Then hold on, Nikki, I stop her, let Nisha finish her story. Then it'll be your turn, okay? Yes, Logan. Nisha. I ask. What did Saf say? She said Nikki had to get help, and we had to fight the rogues. What about Zara and Jess? I ask. Did my mate really take charge of both of them there? They had to fight, too, Nisha says. Joshi and Nikki nod. No, I mean Saffron took charge. Father interrupts. Not Zara or Jess. Saffron, Nisha agrees. She was so brave, Nikki says dreamily. She wasn't scared at all, Joshi adds. I wasn't scared either. I was a little scared, Nisha admits. Me too, Nikki adds. Well, I wasn't. Joshi frowns. Yeah, you were, Nisha and Nikki both shout at the same time. Was not. Hey, I snap, getting their attention. If this continues, I'm seriously going to suggest to Father that we separate them and talk to them one at a time. Okay, what happened next? Okay, Nisha pauses to think. Saffron counted to 3, then Nikki ran, and Joshi and I attacked the littlest rogue. We were really scared. What did everyone else do? I prod. Zara had to fight the biggest rogue, and Jess the second biggest, but he was still really, really big. She spreads her hands out wide, but then he didn't want to fight. And what about Saffron? Who did she fight? I ask, heart sinking. My mate may have taken charge, but Luna doesn't let her friends fight the biggest rogues while she cowers. Saffron fought 2 wolves. Nisha grins. She did, Nikki agrees. She beat them up, Joshi adds. He makes some punching motions with his fists. She went bam, 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 and then they were dead. I think back to the clearing. The rogue they keep calling the littlest wolf must be the one who looked like he was still a kid. Did that mean the 2 wolves next to the tree were the ones Saffron fought? What happened next? Father asks. Then this big, scary wolf showed up. He was going to kill Zara, but Safi stopped him, but Zara was still in trouble, and I'm trying my best to follow Nisha as she talks a mile a minute when a high-pitched ringing makes her stop mid-sentence. She instantly goes quiet, and all of our heads swivel in the direction of the alarm. In that split second, we all realize where it's coming from, next door. It sounds the same alarm as the one that came from Caitlin's heart rate monitor, only now it means something is wrong with Saf or Zara. We all react at once. I jump to my feet and run for the door. I'm almost through it when I hear Father's chair crash to the ground. His heavy footsteps pound after mine as we head down the hall. A few seconds later, 2 lighter sets follow, one a second behind the other. We all race down the hall, the blaring of the alarm getting louder and louder. I know something is wrong, really wrong. There's an equal chance it's Saf or Zara, but there's only one name on my lips as I burst inside the infirmary. Saffron, I shout. The moment I see her, the air leaves my chest, and I feel as if someone punched me straight in the gut. Saf's got one of those plastic masks covering her mouth and nose, and Dr. Dev is standing over her, pushing down on her chest over and over again. Jasper's in front of Saf's heart rate monitor, but off to the side enough that I can get a look at the screen. There are still spiked lines on it, like before, with all these different numbers next to them. The only difference is that they're all red and blinking fast. No, I shout, racing straight for my mate. Jasper rushes toward her at the same time, and we almost collide. I manage not to plow him down and take in the 2 metal paddles he's got in his hands. They're the same ones you see in movies. The ones you always see the doctor press to someone's chest, making their entire upper body jolt. Do something, I shout, trying to push past Jasper so I can get closer to Saf. Alpha, hold Logan back, Dr. Dev yells, continuing to push on Saf's chest. Jasper, the moment you hand me those plates, Turn the dial. No, please, she's my mate, I cry as father grabs my shoulders. He starts pulling me back while Jasper shoves the metal plates at Dr. Dev and rushes back toward Saf's heart rate monitor. I struggle to break free as Dr. Dev presses them against Saf's chest, and when her body jolts, just like in the movie, I let out a startled cry. The sounds overwhelm me. The shrill alarm. The piercing noise comes from the heart rate monitor. Dr. Dev shouts now right before Saf jolts. The zapping of the electricity. Jasper's come on, come on. The kid's loud sobbing was behind me. Logan. Father wraps both arms around me, holding me back. No, please, no, I beg, struggling to get free. I need to get to my mate. I need to do something. I need her to live. Tears stream down my face as I beg, plead, and shout. Please. You can't leave me. Saffron.